And if you end up in the waiting room, I will kind of pull you in as you are seen for me in the waiting room. I won't be able to follow all that too much. Or if Frosty, if you're here, I know you've helped with that in the past. If you don't mind watching as people come in and kind of number them and move them around, or let me know where to put them, and I'll keep my phone with me because I can't look at Discord while doing the podcast. But we're about 3 minutes away, so we'll get started in just a few minutes, guys, and we'll actually be like perfectly on time. Hold on, let me address this real quick. I'll mute myself to you.
No worries.
I'm just expressing my right to free speech. I'm not insulting anyone. You do not have free speech in my Twitch chat. I am the commander. I am the king of the castle, and I decide what goes on in my Twitch chat. And I have every tool in my toolbox to say, if I don't like what you're saying and you are against the rules that I created, then you can leave. I gave you a 10-minute timeout, let you know that that is against what I want in my Twitch chat and the kind of conversations that I want to steer, and that's it. Where are the rules? I just gave them to you. We don't talk about politics here. Done. It doesn't matter if I write them or anything. They will not be had in my chat at all. Okay? And I will not argue with you anymore. That is the end of the conversation. If you don't like that, this is not the Twitch chat for you, and you can leave. If you want to talk about video games, and specifically the video game that we're playing or talking about, Star Citizen, you can stay. And it's as simple as that. Just had to have a note. Please don't talk about politics discussion. And yeah, that's all. And that free speech does not exist in Twitch chat. That's all.
Damn right. That's why I ban anyone talking about the Herald.
Exactly.
You heard me, Marty. Oh.
I'm voting for Chris Roberts. All right. Well, I'm sure everything's going to go great if he's the head of your anything, because it's going great over here.
How to guarantee that something happens at CIG, but how to guarantee nothing happens in your government.
Yeah, the government won't release any new laws. That'll be great.
Well, 1.0 government.
Good times. All right. You want to get going? I'll put up the intro.
I'm good.
I'm ready to go. It's me this week or you?
Correct, yeah.
It's me?
Yep.
All right, cool.
It's you.
I'll give you the countdown then. 30 seconds. $20 seconds. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call, a podcast where we talk about all things Star Citizen, with myself, SaltEMike, and Croncy, and then we open up the calls to you. So we open up our Discord, and you guys can come in and chat about what we're talking about. I think it's going to be very obvious what we're talking about, and it's obvious and unfortunate, I think. The Invictus launch week had a really great opportunity to be a super big celebration of some really big and awesome things, and it was overshadowed by some really crappy stuff that went on. So yeah.
Yep.
What before we get into that, we always kind of do like, hey, what'd you get up to this week? So let's quickly go through that. And also, just so everybody watching, the goal is for us to talk a little bit less than we normally do on the subjects and get to you guys, because we know a lot of you guys are going to want to talk about it. And while a lot of things happened this week, we won't do our normal, let's talk about everything that happened this week, because the whole thing about the podcast is to give you the platform that both Croncy and I have gained over the years. and let you talk about it.
There also
yeah.
There also just like is too much to talk about, so we'll like cover a lot of stuff next week probably.
Yeah, well, it's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
True.
I didn't get a lot of sleep this week. That was my main thing.
Me too.
I am extremely tired. And a lot of that doesn't have to do with Star Citizen. There's a lot of other stuff going on, which will be interesting pretty soon to reveal. But yeah. But did play a lot of Magic this week. Got completely rolled.
Classic.
Yeah.
Croncy comes on every day. It's like, oh, played a lot of Magic, lost, but it was fun.
Yep. Yeah, look, I'll win once every few weeks, and that'll tide me over, and then I'll just cry a lot the next week.
The non-Blade related thing that I did was I started a like alt account playthrough of 4.1.1 and had a decent time. Okay. I ran into some definite like bottlenecks and stuff of certain things not working, which is unfortunate. But but outside of that, I did the Atmo Esports Fight or Flight tournament. It was sponsored by Thrustmaster, so it was called something else. I don't know what the sticks were called. It was some name.
Solar.
Yeah, Solar or something like that. And it was a good time. I had my classic partner, Moist Noodle, and we just had a great time like strategizing how we were going to do things. And in classic fashion, like the last time me and Noodle did it, is we did not train until 2 hours before the tournament, while the entire group of tournament players were either extreme sweats that PvP every single day or people that have been training for months. And we kind of did pretty well and made it to 4th. So we won our first round. We lost our second round against like the people who won. We went to the losers bracket and beat a team with like the most literally one of the most legendary PvPers in history. So I don't know if we got lucky or if they haven't been playing or whatever. But we beat them in the losers bracket, and then we lost to honestly a team that we should have beat, and I kind of screwed up. So I owe Noodle an apology. But we had a great time, and very quickly they gave us like a bunch of ships that we could choose from with builds on them, and one of them was the Hawk. And for people who don't know, the Hawk is supposed to be a bounty hunter ship, so it has an EMP, and they also choose like the guns loadout. Yep. And that ship had distortion guns on them, just 2 of them. Yeah. So in our very short testing, we noticed that like they caused a lot of problems. So
yeah. Sounds like they would just be shutting things down left and right.
Yeah, so we used them. Yeah. And it was really fun. So then so we used that in our first round. And what was funny is Herb Zeta, who was the first group that went, they found the same thing as us. So they went with a similar loadout that we were going to use. They went Arrow and Saber. We went, or excuse me, Hawk and Saber, and we went Hawk and Arrow in our first round. And then our second round, there was also the Avenger Warlock. So we went double EMP and shut Lizzie B down completely and just stood there while she spun and then shot her. It was really fun.
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, or no, that was somebody else. But whatever. We had a great time, and it was just interesting that the normal Gladius, Arrow, Saber, like the ships that you would expect, did not show up as much in certain scenarios, and it was just a surprising and fun little thing that they did with the event, and we had a great time with it. So that was it.
It's good fun to have tournaments like that where you can structure the rules in a way that people will use stuff that you're not usually used to in the verse. So you get a lot more fun out of them. So
it was a good time. But outside that, I have been on my I got my megaphone out and just saying how I feel about what's going on with some of the decisions being made around Star Citizen gameplay, literally gameplay. And I don't know if we want to start with that. I personally would prefer to start with the happy stuff, the Invictus release.
I was going to say let's do that. It's a bit of a better run into it before we go with it, because I also imagine the majority of the callers will be calling about the blades. So
agreed. So go ahead. You could take it, but again, I think I think this was fantastic. A lot of this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's a monumental like moment in the game's history, right?
Yeah.
Like this is nothing to ignore.
Yeah. So, yeah, about 24 hours before Invictus began, I was proven wrong. They announced that the Idris was in fact coming
Yeah.
with Invictus. It is in the game right now for anyone who has a pledge. Crazy. I was certain they would not do this. And to be fair, there's for a couple of reasons. I do want to start off by saying I'm very happy they did this
Yeah.
because any backlog ship that is getting released to players is fantastic, right? It also allows them to do, they can start balancing it now. They can start figuring out gameplay for this sort of stuff now with players actually using it, kind of like they have been doing with the Polaris. Very, very excited for all that sort of stuff. But I was still surprised. Like, yeah, there isn't really content designed for it necessarily. But yeah, wow, just insane. I was just completely surprised. We were talking. I think we talked about it last week, and we said it was impossible. There's no way it's coming out.
Yeah, I just it didn't seem like it was a reality, but I think like if anybody paid for something, they deserve to get it. Like it's just as simple as that. But yeah, it's huge. I don't own one. Do you own one? Did you buy one?
I don't. No,
I don't.
No, I do not own
so
one.
I actually have not flown in one yet. I haven't experienced it. But I'm super happy for the people that have. And part of me is like a little bummed out because I feel like server meshing has been amazing, but I also feel like it really has only super benefited like these situations where it's like, oh, we can get more big ships in the game, but it's like the AI are still kind of crap. And I feel like we haven't seen the advances that I would like to see on the game side of it. But obviously, like, dude, there's people having like massive Idris battles. What's the frame rate like? Because I haven't even been in Stanton yet in 4.1.
Yeah, pretty good. So yeah, I did jump in. Shout out Sandig, my favorite whale, who I'm gonna bring up later as well because he also hates the blades, and that's a big point. But anyway,
huge whales even don't like it.
Exactly, yeah. But he got out his Idris, and we tried it around. The laser is so damn cool. From what we can tell,
it's
it's
fired
not
by the
particularly
pilot,
powerful.
though, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, like just like the railgun, right? Is fired by the pilot. But yeah, the laser is really cool. It's very fun to use. This is also the first ship, like beam weapon, really, that we've gotten. And it's been very impressive in terms of just like how much fun it is. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is sustained damage, which I do think like people are saying, oh, it needs to do more damage. I don't think that's the case. I think it is fine so far. We'll see how it goes though. It's got like 5-kilometer range. But like actually just like crewing up the Idris was like relatively easy and fun. We went and did the Hunt the Polaris, and this might be my like maybe there is some content for the Idris. If you do Hunt the Polaris, if you do like one Idris Hunt the Polaris, that is kind of content designed for an Idris crew, right?
Yeah, it seems like the mission was designed around the Idris.
Yeah, it certainly does. Like, it's a lot of multiple small targets that you need your turrets for, but then you've also got this big target at the end, right? But yeah, so doing that mission was a lot of fun. There was I think 6 Idrises at one point when we did it. Watching all of the Idris beams, like because everyone was using the laser because everyone wants to try the cool new thing. Seeing all 6 Idris beams like hitting the Polaris was really cool and sort of gave you a like finally a real feeling of like capital v capital gameplay, at least to some extent.
Can I pause you there for a second? Because some people in the chat are saying it melts a hammerhead in like 15 to 20 seconds. This dude doesn't have a clue.
That is not true. That is straight up not true. Yeah. No idea where that person got that number from, but that is actually wrong.
Another person says it has full damage at 3K and fall off at 5. So like maybe
that is
a range thing.
That is for sure the case.
Okay.
Yeah. You can see from the hit markers that like if you are at like the full 5, it'll just be like blip, blip, Like it won't like deal damage as normal essentially.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, fair enough comment from Voidude. That is relevant as well. There may be some bugs with it anyway.
What did he say? Oh,
Yeah.
I see it.
The laser is bugged.
Yeah. Okay, so just like
But
doesn't
the
do
point
damage
is,
sometimes. Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
The point is, people have been saying it needs to do more damage, and it doesn't.
Oh. Okay.
Uh,
What's
so yeah.
what's the
It's
movement
cool.
of the? Sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions because I just haven't
Yeah, it's all
experienced
good.
it. What's the movement with the pilot? Like, is a Polaris a little faster? Like, is it actually kind of hard to track with the pilot in an Idris, or is it like quite easy to stay on target? Or especially with a Hammerhead too, it should be moving a little faster. You would think, right?
Yeah, so obviously the Idris doesn't move particularly fast, and it
Yeah.
is like so it is gimbaled, and so you do get that like little extra.
Really? Okay.
Uh, yeah, you do get that like little extra movement for hitting. So if you target something and you start shooting at it, it will follow the target
Mm-hmm.
to like 15 degrees or something like that. Like it's yeah, it has auto aim essentially.
Yeah.
But then the second they're out
auto
of that
gimbal
15
thing.
degrees,
Yeah.
yeah, second they're out of that like 15 degrees, yeah, you're not hitting them anymore.
Yep.
So against the Polaris, and to be fair, it was the like the NPC Polaris. Pretty easy to stay on them, but it was pretty hard to stay like right next to them.
Okay.
Like I was constantly, when I was using it at least, I was constantly having to afterburner just to stay in the target of it and whatnot. And anything faster, almost impossible unless they're like stationary.
Got it.
Which is good. That's what I would want that to be, right? At least on a massive ship with a size, what is it, size 10, size 12, whatever size it is. You want it to be that way.
Sure.
And then yeah, it was cool. Just like the cool thing once again about the Hunter Polaris encounters are the fact that there's also there's like retaliators and a bunch of different like fighters and stuff also flying around during it. And so having people in the turrets to actually shoot them off, and like you wanted them in the turrets to shoot them off because it's too hard for you to do the lasers and whatnot to them, it felt cool. So like I really, really enjoyed the Idris gameplay for that one mission.
Okay. And then did you do it with like anything else or just that mission? I just wonder if like
just that mission.
This will just be like way too strong for like ERTs or something like that. Like you just wouldn't do it. I think it's going to be amazing for mining. Well, I can't wait to use it. So like all the cargo, like, so you have the main thing in the center where the ships go, but on all the sides, there's little cargo areas, right? Each one of those fits exactly 8 bags. So it's like perfect. Two prospectors or 1 mole, right? So it's just like, oh, this is perfect. So I look forward to using it for that one day. But again, I don't have one, so it'll be one of those things that I look forward towards earning whenever that's possible. So yeah, I'm sure we'll talk more about the when those things are possible quite soon as well.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's all for me with the Idris. I'm super happy everybody has it though. The ones that bought it.
Yeah.
Little drama with the paints. You know the paint drama with it?
Is it just that people don't like them?
No. It's that you can only get the paint or apply the paint if you own it. Which is weird because there's no way to get it without owning it. So maybe that's just a change that hasn't been changed yet or whatever.
Wasn't it changed to be a loaner for the Javelin?
I have no idea. So I think maybe
I believe it was. So
maybe if you have the Javelin, you can't put the paint on?
Possibly. Yeah, I'm not aware of the drama of that. But speaking of the paints, it just came up on screen. Probably one of the most ridiculous paints we've ever gotten, but I love it. The shark paint on the Idris is very, very funny. You can't tell it up close, but yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I love the shark one. I thought that was so fun that they had a good time. Niku posted on Spectrum that they were looking into the paint issue. Okay, cool. I didn't see that one yet. Yeah, there's just some weird thing that I saw people freaking out about, and I was like, I'm sure they will address it once you're able to get it in game, but okay. They obviously want to make money. It's like for the people who aren't going to spend $1,500, they might get. I mean, how much would an Idris paint be by itself? Does anyone do we know what it is? Are they like $50 for paint or something?
I was gonna say there have been some paints that are like $50, right? Like some really big paints, I think.
15.
In the past.
Okay. 15 is still a lot. So people are saying 25. Okay. It's still, that's so much money, but it's a paint.
Yeah.
That's like a AA game. Like the prices of this is wild, but if they get it, what people don't quite understand is the value of something is what somebody's willing to pay for it, right? So if people are willing to pay 25, then that's the right price.
And I am a-okay with skins costing that much if people want to buy them.
Me too, because they have no effect on the gameplay. Sell them for $1,000. I don't care.
Which would be a great transition into the next topic, but there's one more thing I want to touch on with the Idris.
Go for it.
Which is, I imagine, because this has now been released as well, that surely this becomes a Wakela reward of some kind. Like a crazy Wakela reward.
In 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, not right away. There's no way, but
yeah, no, not right away.
Yeah,
as they've made perfectly clear.
Yes.
But yeah, it just feels right? Like they did it with the Polaris. You just like triple, quadruple, like quintuple, whatever. Like make it crazy high. I think it'd be a fantastic Wakelo style reward if it even goes through Wakelo and not someone else.
Sure. All right. Do we get to the blades?
Let's do it.
I don't even want to.
So, if everyone's been living under a rock and you've never seen any news about Star Citizen this week, or actually in the past few weeks, because that's when it got touched on originally, we have AI blades in Star Citizen.
Flight blades.
If you pay for them.
Flight blades.
Yeah, flight blades.
Yeah. What are flight blades? While I'm looking for the actual pledge store stuff.
Yeah. So flight blades are a new component. They modify, well, the ones that we have modify speed and maneuverability of your ship. I believe this initial release was like 8 ships. It's like some very, very core like fighters and stuff. Though I think like the Hammerhead has it as well.
Yeah, they wanted like a wide variety. So you have the Gladius, the Avenger, the Hammerhead, the Redeemer, the Scorpius, and the Argo MPUV, and the Arrow, the C8, and that's it. But it's very important to look at what else they come with. They also come with paint. And the only way to get these paints, is my understanding, is to buy these packages.
Yeah. Now, I want people to call in if you do have the blades and let us know maybe a bit more about the blades themselves. But from what I've seen, specifically from Zero State,
yes,
as an example, is the Gladius Flight Blade. Normal acceleration from 0 to max speed was 7 seconds. With the Speed Blade was 4.5 seconds. That is a massive difference. That is a huge difference.
If this blade was on a prospector, for like, I can only speak from the type of gameplay that I'm interested, a prospector or a vulture, and you wanted to get out of atmosphere to quantum travel away, unless the other team had a Mantis, you are out. Now, most likely the other team would have a Mantis, though, so it doesn't really have any effect on that. But I imagine one day there will be a blade that is, anti distortion or whatever, QED or something like that, right? And
exactly. Now, so all these blades are supposed to come off with a trade-off, right? Like you lose maneuverability and whatnot.
Do you know what ship it was? People are asking in the chat. Sorry to interrupt. I can't remember.
I believe a Gladius.
Gladius. Okay.
Zero State posted it up on Twitter. So that's where this specific information is coming from, which is why I'm saying if you have a Gladius in chat and you're calling in, let us know. Sorry, not Gladius, a blade. Let us know what you've experienced in terms of its actual component. But yeah, so it's supposed to be a trade-off, and so the idea is that you get to choose: do you want more maneuverability or do you want more speed at the cost of the other one? Which is interesting. That's to speak just on the blades themselves. I was kind of hoping it would be more of like a here kind of like, I guess, how power works, where it's like, here is a pool, move some towards speed, move some towards maneuverability or whatever, but then it's like set in stone once it's in the ship, kind of like a tuning that you would do maybe before you you operate the ship. Instead, it's just is a component, but affecting stuff that typically has not been affected before.
Yeah, it's we have been talking about flight blades for a while now. And the thing that we were talking about specifically is that we love the idea of this, the idea of tuning being a thing. It's something that we wanted to see. And I don't think a single soul, while we were talking about this, expected that this is the way that they were going to be released, because we saw them at Invictus. And when things are at Invictus, you walk up to them and rent them. I can't, if you played this game for at least a year and have seen Invictus before or IAE, that was your expectation, is that like, oh wow, they were going to put this thing in and they didn't test it in the PTU, but they were going to test it with us on live, and you were just going to be able to experience it and try it out. And I think that's why people are like, why are people overreacting to this? To comment on the people who I was writing to in Twitch chat, who I know you very well, and I think it's very obnoxious the way you're handling yourself, especially as a Twitch moderator. But the idea here is that it's more of a surprise, and this is that's why everybody is having the reaction they are. And I don't believe that it's an overreaction. This is one of the first times in a long time that the community is largely in line with each other on something being bad. The last time that something like this happened, the worst that the most in line I've ever seen anybody was when CIG asked players to pay to watch CitizenCon on their Twitch page.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, when's the last time that like something like this bad, like something like this has happened and the community has been like this for the most part, this sort of uniform on it. I was thinking it was the F8 gold pass thing. But yeah, you're right. It's like, that was crazy when they were like, yeah, if you want to watch CitizenCon digital, you have to pay, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. And everyone was like, this is bullshit. And they were like, oh yeah, by the way, okay, well, stop. And I mean, in this iteration of Spectrum, this is the first time that we've seen like this flood of like, you know, because you can't downvote anything. So the only thing you could do is post reactions. And like,
the
I mean,
thumbs down emotes.
Look at this stuff. Like, how can you say people are overreacting to this? There's 6,000 downvotes on this thing if they could have downvotes, and 231 upvotes. Like, this is like, everyone is in agreement here. Like, I'm doing the wrong thing as I'm reading the Twitch chat, and I'm seeing some people saying that I'm just a crybaby and these other things, and I'm having a hard time with that. I usually ignore that kind of stuff, but like, I think it's very important, and I'm using that because I think it's very important to understand that the community is largely in line with this. Like, this is not a situation where it's just me and I just want what I want out of the game, or whatever the arguments you guys make about me. This isn't about me. Like, this, everybody is in line with this. Guys, when I make a post on Spectrum, nobody upvotes it, ever. Look at this. Like, this is not normal. So,
this was a uniform thing. To the point that very, very funnily, I got rated by Astropub the other day, and he even said, if myself, Mike, Burks, and Space Tomato and Morph are all agreeing on something, something's bad. Yeah,
exactly. Like, come on, it's not fair to say that like, this is just the argument, or this is the complaint of the week. Unfortunately, I think that's what's going to happen, though. And that's one of the like, again, I'm going to try not to talk too much about this, is the what I think creators are going to do in this scenario is they're going to say, I don't want to keep bothering my community saying the same thing about this over and over again. And I legitimately might kill my channel by doing this, but I am not going to let this go. Like Knight Rider was in my chat yesterday, who's like the moderator that bans everybody in the Twitch chat or in the Spectrum or whatever, right? Spectrum. And I said I'm going to be a thorn in your side on this, because if we allow this to just go away, then they've won, and the game is going to be in, like, everybody who put a down thumb on this, like, doesn't get heard. Right?
Yeah.
It is just my mentality on that. And I'll probably, suffer from doing that. But I think it's the right thing to do, is to just never let this live down until an actual change is made. Do you want to get into the response now to this backlash? Or do you want to keep going on something else?
No, we'll go into the response to the backlash, because other stuff I want to talk about is more prevalent to that, I guess, as well. So within a day, pretty much, we did get a response, which was unsurprising given basically what Mike just showed, with like the crazy amount of bad responses that were on Spectrum. Not to mention all the other threads that were on there as well. And so Xylo responded with, like,
before you go,
kind of a nothing response.
Before you go, please, zero hate towards Xylo. The guy works in community, has absolutely no decision making on any of this, except for potentially a little bit how it's worded. But I can only imagine that some of this went by legal as well, right? So do not kill the messenger here. That is really stupid if you're getting mad at Xylo about this. All right.
So it was kind of a, like, we have to respond, but we can't do much, right? So in it they talk about, Xylo talks about, like, here are some positives for the year, and like, we apologize that we've missed something, and he does say that, like, going forward, what is it? Going forward, future gameplay kit introductions will ensure these items are obtainable in game on day one.
What I have highlighted here, I think, is the more prevalent one. And I'm sorry, the little upvote notification thing's just going to constantly be coming up. It hasn't stopped for days. But after some reflection, we've decided that for smaller components like flight blades or bomb racks, they should be available in-game at the same time they appear on the store. Confetti, fireworks, everybody is happy, right? Wrong. That was not what the argument was. That is part of the argument. But that was not what people had issue with. And again, I don't think I'm on the wrong side of history on this. Because again, I wrote on Spectrum, hey, keeping the status quo and just pushing them in game faster is not like solving the root of what people's issue are with this. People do not like that you're selling more gameplay on the store, regardless if it's also in the game or not. And like, you just are kind of trying to band-aid this so we go away and stop talking. And that is the top upvoted post under this. And once again, there is 1.8K upvotes on mine and 700 upvotes there. And if you add the pluses together, even with those upvotes, it doesn't add up to how much I have there. So it's, again, mine could have gotten a lot of downvotes too. So it's not a real metric, but it has to have something to say, is these things don't happen in terms of the amount of like people looking and interacting with threads like that. And it just has to tell you something, that like a lot more people agree that this is not a good thing than others. So yeah, it's how do you feel about this? I've obviously showed my post, made my feelings clear. It was this was for you, and for everybody who's going to call in, was this good enough for you? Because for this, a lot of people were like, yep, okay, I'm happy with that. Because they're able to, a lot of people are able to just play games and not really worry about the fact that other people are paying as well. And that is, I understand that, but it's not something that makes me happy, obviously. So you have the floor.
Like I said, for me, it feels like a nothing response. It feels like a required but nothing response, where you're not really saying much of anything in here. And I had actually not caught onto the we've decided for smaller components. My brain just said, like when I read it, my brain just said, "Oh, they mean everything that's not a ship." But
which essentially,
yeah,
I
that is
think
very
that's what,
very.
I think that is what
I
it
don't
might
know.
mean.
It's very
What else could it go
well.
there?
I would hope that's what it means. Because like we've already been conditioned to know that ships are always going to be a thing that we're gonna have to fight against.
Yeah.
And it needs to be nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt like just a required response, which in one respect is like fair. Like, what are you gonna do within a day? But yeah, it just doesn't mean much to me.
Yeah. I mean, did we talk about the fact that like, it's just setting a new precedent? Like for me, the whole thing is you took 2 steps forward towards monetizing more shit, and then took only 1 step back, and then was like, "See, guys, we're good." And it's like, it's just like, no, we're not good, man. Like you have to hear us.
Yeah,
And like I don't expect them to refund these things, but here's the thing about flight blades is it's only a few of them. It's not for every ship, and there's still an opportunity to fix this. Maybe not these specific blades. And I think what for me, what also is the problem here that I think a lot of people are not recognizing is the players who buy items in the game are actually buying different items than the people who are buying them on the store, because the items that you buy on the store now come with item recovery, and the items that you buy in the game do not. There is a tangible difference between those 2 items. So it's not the same thing. They're different things.
Yeah.
They're just different things.
Yeah. I also want to address like one of the big defenses that I've seen from some people, and it is a small amount of people. Like we said earlier, it does seem like the majority of the community is against this, and I do mean the majority, not just streamers. People have been saying, it's like, oh well, like you've got, how is this different to a ship pledge? How is this different to like literally what they've been doing forever? Why don't people hate those?
They do.
I do hate those.
Do. Like,
yeah,
what?
I've always been really bad, like really against the idea of the ship pledges. The only thing that has like sort of even remotely made it a little okay, with an example of, let's say, the Idris that just came out, is you need a lot of people to use it. It is not a one person buy and then win. You need a lot of people to operate it. And that makes it more okay for me, because it isn't a pay to win.
Yeah.
It's a very different situation.
It doesn't make it more okay, but like I'll tell you from my perspective, the whole thing for me was like, all right, ship sales equal bad. They've always been bad. MMOs are like super great because people all start in the same place and then move on. Like obviously, like over periods of time, like everybody's in different places, but that server, everyone started in the same place at some point. Everybody went through the same kind of experiences to get to whatever place they're in, or similar experiences, right? And that's kind of what makes MMO special. And with the ships, that goes away. That sucks, and I've always hated that. But what was like the silver lining was that there were all these little empty holes inside of those ships that you filled things like shields in, and power plants, and flight blades in. And those were like the thing that was like, oh, so that's what I'll play the game for. Okay, this is really bad, but I can kind of look past it a little bit and go, well, there'll be opportunities where even those players who bought things will be on the same page once I get the ship, because we still have to get the items to kind of do really well with the ship. And then these guys come out with this and go, well, it looks like they've changed their tune on that, or are, we're always planning it all along. And that's the just thing that I'm just like, this is crazy. And that was the kind of like slap in the face, like, holy crap. Everything that I thought I was going to be doing in the game, people are just going to be able to buy. And it's a hard thing to argue, because for me, it muddies the experience down, but for other people it doesn't. And I get why it doesn't. Like, I play Eve and I don't buy like skill points, right? So like, does that mean buying skill points are bad, or like I'm still able to have fun? Like, I get it, but it's just like everything is for purchase
Yeah.
in the game now. Everything is up for, like, it's possible that it could be. If they do this, they can do anything. Yes. Is the issue that people are probably having. If it's just flight blades, would you care? If like this is today, if they put out the flight blades thing and said, by the way, here is a legally binding statement that we will only ever sell flight blades and never sell shields, power plants, weapons, or anything like that ever, or something. Like, yes, I know they have in the past, but like, let's just say, would you care as much? I wouldn't. I think it's the implication of what
I wouldn't care as
happen.
much. It would certainly be still the topic of this ATC, but
Yes.
it definitely, it wouldn't be as aggressive.
Yeah.
And I think you brought up a good point, right? It's like the precedent that it sets is, you know what they could just sell on the pledge store now? Blueprints for crafting.
Yep.
And I don't just mean like skin blueprints. Like they could just put on tier 3, tier 5 blueprints for crafting.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's the point of me like going and getting blueprints, right? Like, Mike, it was such an easy win for them, this Invictus, if they didn't do this.
It's crazy.
Such an easy win.
It's crazy. Like, I have been told that like all I do is complain. I would have complained about nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. Everything else was good.
Yeah.
Because everything else around Invictus was great. The new Invictus, well, okay, the only thing I would have said is that new Grey Cat vehicle is absolutely stupid.
Oh no, it's sick as hell. As a racing vehicle, it's sick as hell.
Really?
Yeah, so, actually dope.
So actually everybody, well, they did say it's going to be better on riding on Daymar or whatever, right?
Yeah. It operates a lot better than the Rover.
Okay.
So,
that's awesome.
It's like similar top speed, but like the handling is so much better. I think I even saw a tweet from one of the devs saying that they wanted to make it meta for the Daymar rally. I think was like the exact quote.
I believe that.
Which cool.
Because then people will buy it, right? Because you wouldn't buy a vehicle unless it was useful for something. So if it has a use, okay,
pretty much,
that's great. I mean, from like how they were selling it to you, like to defend your, like, you know, it's like, what? This thing has no purpose whatsoever. This is so silly.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic for something that they did not advertise.
Well, they did, because they said it would work really well on, say, a planet like Daymar in the video for it.
What are they talking about?
I was like, I know what you're doing there, you mother.
Yeah.
But but like the Invictus like area, way better done. I love, like, you don't need to constantly change the locations all the time. You just go on the like rental kiosk. Like, they made a lot of really good changes from a lot of feedback and all these things. I think I have no problem with people getting the Idris and getting that in game. A little bit with the like adding the extra guns to it and stuff like that. But again, this would have been a fantastic Invictus for them, because they had a pretty cool mission. Again, I have not participated in the mission. The one thing we didn't say is I just sat in my hangar and accepted the mission, and now I have 500 script. I have killed 60 Idrises without leaving my hangar.
Mike, you're so good at this game. It's crazy.
I am a giga gamer. All right.
It is very funny. It went from when we were talking about it during
war hero
of it being give him a medal. It went from when we were talking about it in PTU being like not accessible enough to being far too accessible to the point that it's maybe messing up a bit.
They overcorrected. You know what
but like the mission itself was fun, right?
It's
that is
great.
Once again, like it's a bonus. Like there are all these really good things to talk about this Invictus that are just completely overshadowed by this whole thing.
Yep, 100%. I think the weirdest thing in the patch is, have you seen the comms calls from the like the AI when they come? It's awesome. Like, some of the missions are like really actually pretty well like voice acted, but they look like
Yep.
claymation characters because there's just like something weird with
Yeah.
the lighting, and like that
Yeah,
that would be like
there's a
one of
weird
my
lighting
few.
on.
That would be one of my few complaints is they just look like super goofy and like what's her name's hairline is like, you know, worse than
Yeah,
mine.
yeah.
It's like, so it's just some goofy stuff there, which is just a funny. Yeah. Lars, who's a Devon
Yeah.
chat, says they did my girl duly dirty. It's super funny. So
Yeah.
there's just more stuff to like point out and laugh at, and that would be the worst of our criticism of this patch.
Yeah.
Like
No.
it's crazy. It's crazy. So, somebody's gotta check themselves before they wreck themselves, you know, and they wreck themselves this patch. But again, they have not gone back on any of their word. And what do we do now? What do we do as a community? I don't mean as creators.
Yeah.
What do we do as a community now from this point? Like, I think from this point forward, like if you look at Reddit, all the posts are gone. Nobody's talking about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna die. Like people are expecting, it's just gonna die out. Will it die out until the next time they do it? It might come up again until the next time they do it. But it's like, if you actually care about these things, and for me personally, I truly do, what's the solution?
Yeah, so
I don't know if there is one. Do we just lose?
I will say, well, like that's the thing. So I was very proud about how the community responded to it in general. And so the hope is, hey, you community, when this happens again, not if, when it happens again,
yeah,
you need to go hard again. You need to give the feedback that this isn't okay, and that's kind of the best we can do, right? It's yeah.
Can we just discuss something very quickly here too? What makes this really, really, really disgusting is internally, if somebody wanted these amazing paints, we said this already. Yeah. These paints are awesome, and if they charged $18 for the paint, I might buy it still without the blade.
Yeah.
But because I just love these color schemes. But internally, what's going to happen here, because the blades aren't purchased separately, they're purchased in these packages, it's going to look like people actually wanted to buy these blades, and they're going to say that this was a success. We saw the money go up. But if you want a paint that you like, and you should, and again, I've said this a million times, I want CIG to be as rich as Apple. I don't care. If they make a great product, they deserve to be, right? And if you want to buy the paint, you're forced to buy the blade. And it's going to look like people like the blades when they might have just liked the paint. And then they're going to come to us and say, well, everybody bought the blades. And it's like, how do you even know that? You don't actually know even. And it's like, they're really smart on doing this because they're going to pull the rug out from under us and say everybody liked them. It's weird. Everyone's just, getting angry on Spectrum, but it's not the actual real numbers. And it's like, well, whatever numbers you have aren't real either, because these are coming in packages that you can't get. Yeah, separately.
It's not indicative of the community's response, and there is at least anecdotal evidence of that. I've seen a lot of people say, like, I really did just want the paint. I did not want the blade. I do not want this to be a thing. I just wanted the paint.
That Gladius paint, and I can't buy it.
Yeah.
I can't buy it. I don't have the blades. I don't have any of this stuff. I literally can't buy these because I can't sit here with a straight face and say how bad these are and then buy them. I have no blades. I haven't tested them. I refuse to. And it sucks. It's silly because, again, they're going to use this against us. And I could say us because it's literally against us. Because we all seem to be fairly in line with this. People who are like, I've spent $15,000 on this game and I still think this is bad. Like, I've seen that post hundreds of times. Like, come on, man. This is nuts.
To bring up my good friend Sandy again, who has I forget the name of the package, but the one that has every single ship.
Oh yeah.
The one thing that he has said to me for years is like, the thing that would get him to stop playing the game is proper pay to win, and this is an example of that. And also, just to address people saying that it's not pay to win, if you can only access it for 3 months by paying for it with real money, that is pay to win straight up, and I don't know how you could see it any other way.
I keep saying don't use pay to win or don't use paywalled or certain terms because people will use it against you because they'll just go, there's no winning in the game. The blades barely even do anything. It's not about any of it. It's about the implication of what this means.
Yeah.
Of what it could be.
But also the blades do so much. They do so much. To talk very quickly as well, just then about we should get to callers soon because we did say we talk last.
Yes.
I do just want to bring up. You did mention the money. It is looking like this is going to be, and this is likely because of the Idris. To be fair, but it is looking like this is going to be the most successful funding event
ever.
Period that they've ever had. Beating Citizen Cons, beating IAEs and Invictuses of the past. We're obviously still very early days, but so far that's what it's looking like.
They haven't even sold the Asgard yet.
Or exactly. There is still more new stuff to come.
Yeah. Or is the TAC right now? I haven't been to the IAE
no,
yet.
It wouldn't be yet, I don't think. But yeah, so all that stuff is still to come. So the idea is that, like, you know, there's still more stuff there. So my hope is that in fact that money difference has just been from the Idris. There's no real way for us to know that, but like obviously it's expensive and there's a lot of money coming in.
I'm just curious that this is starting to spread outside of us, and then like I don't think it's going to have any impact now because the people outside of us are not paying or not playing, but it continues to add to the sentiment of this game's bullshit to the wider gaming community, and we'll see what happens. But so I am not ready for the inline colors yet, so let me put a name.
Oh, good, because I can do the spiel of if you ever want to call in to answer the call and give us your opinions on things, preferably of what we've been talking about, you can head on down into the Discord link below, head into the green room, and we'll bring you in. If you're on Mike's channel, you can go !Mike Podcast and follow the link, and we'll see you in there.
All right, so apparently I was mentioned in a PC gaming article. Okay, wow, an AI found a post that I made and wrote it. Who cares? So the first caller is Punjistic. So we're going to get to the community members, and we're going to get to as many of you as you can. How long are we going to give people to talk on this subject, do you think? 5? Max?
It 5 to 7. 5 to 7.
Okay, got it. All right, Punjistic, here you are. What do you want to talk about?
What a way to jump in.
I guess how awesome the Idris was in the limited experience that I've gotten to use it with the Hunt the Polaris, and how frustrating it is that the Flight Blades overshadowed that the same night.
All right, give it to us.
So Idris was phenomenal. It was if you had to point to an experience that you could have in Star Citizen as like part of a sales pitch of why you should like at least look at it, that would have been it. Like there was the first Hunt the Polaris mission that we were in. We were the only Idris on the field, but there's like 30 other players just fluttering about with us. And it looked pretty much like something straight out of Star Wars. It was a really cool experience. But the whole time, like while we're having that fun, we're also cracking jokes about, you'll get the door unlock Flight Blade because like there was an issue where doors weren't opening. So every little issue that we ran into, every minor inconvenience became they'll just sell a Flight Blade for this.
My name for the Atmo Esports thing was sometime in summer because that's when they said the blades would end up in our hangars. There were 3 teams named after like kind of protesting the blade thing.
But and that was a really cool experience. But like it's just frustrating that they felt the need to, like, if they had to pick something to sell, a new thing to sell, why did it have to be Flight Blades? Why couldn't it be another gun, another arm, or something that we've already like kind of just gave up in defeat on?
Just quickly, I think that there's a pretty clear reason why they did that. I don't think they made master modes for this reason to sell flight blades. That would be insane. But I think what they like very similar to what they did with the community sentiment around, hey, I bought armor on the store. I would love to be able to use it and not lose it. They have consistently heard, I don't like that the slow speeds of master modes. I don't like the lower maneuverability and the inability to tricord or things like that. That was a lot of feedback around master modes, right? So they were like, oh, you have a problem? Here's a solution for $15, right? And it's like, ooh. So that's like another way that it looks bad. Is like a lot of people would like the flight to change. Well, here's a way to change it, but it costs you money. It's like, whoa, you know? So like this just put a bad taste after bad taste in people's mouths. It's crazy.
It's also like the kickback would have as well been a far lot less if in addition it was just in the game. Like I still would have been mad if people had access to buy it day one and get it, but nowhere near as much if I could still go and loot it from anything, right? Like if it was acquirable in game of some way that day.
Yeah, and I think that's like what's keeping me just firmly in the disappointed, maybe annoyed category, and not like outraged, because I do see the flight blades as being when they are in game something inconsequential. I can't imagine that they'll be very expensive to get in game. So someone spends $12 on them to have them right away versus someone who spends 20,000 in-game credits when they first create a new character and they have them right then. It hopefully balances out that way.
Did you buy the blades? Okay. I'm gonna ask that to everybody.
This whole flight blade situation has kind of put me off the idea of buying anything during this Invictus because.
Yep, I've heard that echoed quite a lot in the last few days.
Did I mention they're all like individual items for individual ships yet? Did I bring that up? Like we're gonna have.
I don't think so, but yeah, that's like another
8,000 additional items in the game. It makes no sense from a design standpoint. Just like and what that does, it makes you think that marketing decided this because then it's more opportunities to sell, which again, like makes it look even worse. They just like keep digging the hole deeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, making it hull specific rather than size specific is weird.
Yeah, doing that with paints is fine, but
sorry, it does kind of make sense because each hull has its own stats for maneuverability and speed and whatnot.
And they might want to adjust those individually.
Exactly, yeah, but it does just feel weird, I guess, because we haven't had a component like that before.
It's just not a good solution to that problem, I think. Simply because like you could attach a flight blade, the game recognized that it's a saber, and then
and then modify it accordingly.
And modify it accordingly, right? Like there's better solutions here. Again, we don't need more items added to our inventories. There's enough problems with those in the first place. Just from a game design standpoint, whether or not we had to buy them or not, that would be an argument against the way they've done this. But we're taking up a lot of Punji's time, so go ahead, Punji.
Sorry.
That's more or less like just what I had to say. I'm hoping like going forward that they avoid selling more things like flight blades in the future, or barring that, make sure that they're like making these things the most basic version you could get, and then anything you get in game is going to be like way better past a certain point. Like you have your basic flight blades for all these ships on the store, you get the equivalent in game, but then like anything past that, like the next version is only available in game.
Yep.
Anyways, I'll let you get to the other callers. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, we appreciate the call as always.
Maybe crafting can still save us? ? I don't know.
we've put so much weight on crafting. This is not going to go well.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. I guess one last question. You've mentioned being disappointed with them selling gear and how it's going to kill crafting. But does crafting need for someone to be able to craft weapons and armor, or can consumables be enough for a crafter?
I would say, I will quickly just say, consumables could be enough, but they've already said we will be crafting like weapons and modules and stuff. So
yes, but you may not be crafting them as consistently if people always get them back, the ones that they would want to use. Yeah. So that's always been my argument, is like, is this gonna work? I don't know. So yeah. But Punji, we'll let you go and appreciate it, and we'll get to our next one.
Yeah, thanks very much, man.
All right, man. Bye now. All right, he headed out. So then we got Cool G next, and I only know who to get into.
I think it's supposed to be Cool Guy.
Oh, cool guy.
Mic check.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we can hear.
I know who to
Mike
bring
called
in
me
next.
Quality last time.
Cool.
Coology. Yeah, sorry. Don't mind me. I'm literally dumb.
No, just
All good.
no, just it's been about a year, and actually, it's funny though. It's actually cute that we're talking about crafting almost all over again. We talked about crafting a year ago, and I was the guy with the terrible take that Mike got offended because I liked the limited blueprint run idea, and he was not so down with that one.
And I don't think I had played Eve yet.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
true. 'Cause you're in the
I
start of
had.
this year, right?
Yeah.
I
have
had.
less of an issue with it now.
I still think limited blueprints on like elite, gold or tier 3 blueprints is like a good idea. Anyways,
Yeah. I'm gonna largely agree with you now. After actually experiencing something similar.
Yeah.
Croncy, you think so too?
Yeah. I liked the idea because it's like it's a way to get your. There's almost like a blueprint economy when you do that, right?
Exactly.
Which is very interesting. So it's like, Mike might go out and explore and find the tier 3 blueprint, but he has no interest of spending 6 months building the thing, so he sells it to me. Cool.
Exactly.
Like, there's interaction there.
Yeah,
and again,
I have
the
lots
big
of
thing
fancy drone blueprints that are worth a ton of money because I got lucky and found them. It's a cool experience.
Yeah, and the biggest thing we're missing right now in Star Citizen is a sync, right? Like we need something for us to sync time into time, money, whatever it is, right? Effort.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the topic of blades, I'm a little bit more indifferent towards it right now. Like, obviously, it's bad that it's exclusively on the store and you can't get it in any way in the game. The implications of it are really bad, obviously, with regards to, again, marketing and all that. But, like, the actual blades themselves, were... Before I go into the implications, like, Mike, you talked about the surprise factor of the blades, right? How it came out of nowhere. We were expecting to rent it at IAE or Invictus, and it ended up just being on the store. I'm almost wondering if this is like a PR stunt because they wanted something to go to, for news articles to come out about like, oh, this thing is happening in Star Citizen, right? Like, come check out the event.
No.
Beyond just the community.
Nope.
Yeah,
0%.
if you were going to do it as well, first off, it's not a successful PR thing because all the articles have been like negative.
Well, it's the whole idea of any news is good news. But I know
which
what
I
you're
just
gonna
disagree
say.
with. Yeah,
I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if you do. I was going to say specifically, like if you were going to do that, the news around like big capital ship fights, I would imagine would be far more positive, right?
But would it have been exciting enough news to catch articles? And
yes. Are you ready? So? This video was on trending. The Idris is coming video was on trending on YouTube. Yeah. It was on trending in YouTube, and it immediately was overshadowed by the blades. This would have been gaming articles, and these would have been there is a massive ship that 90 players can be on that flies around and can be your moving home, that no video game has ever done anything like this before that I'm aware of. At least you can obviously correct me if I'm wrong. It would have been all positive news, which is way better than negative news, contrary to everyone's belief. Like negative news,
I just don't think they made that much money. I just don't think they made that much money off the blades, personally. Like,
we don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they made much money off the blades.
We don't know.
I do it, right?
Correct. Why do it?
Like, even with the incentive of the cool paint, or if you look at it the other way around, the incentive of the cool blade, the exclusive item, like nobody's buying it. So, like, I'm really questioning the marketing team at this point. Honestly, it's a little bit stupid. But moving on from that. Again, the last thing that last time I was on last year is that what we talked about is the one thing they haven't sold is components, and now we're moving into the territory of them selling components, right?
It's crazy.
Crafting is the last bastion of hope I have for this game, and I have a lot of money sunk into this game. I would not dare ever purchase crafting components. Even ships, like you can make the argument it's like gameplay or whatever.
Can you talk closer to your mic just a little bit?
Sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
Is that better?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
And last thing I wanted to talk about is, again, crafting on blades themselves. So we have a current implementation of them. I also, like Mike said, I don't actually like that they're ship specific. I think if they wanted to veer into that territory, it should instead be like class specific. Like interceptors have category blades, capital ships have a category, industrial ships have a category blades. That'd be way more interesting. And again, I'm hoping crafting really fleshes this out.
I will
we'll
say it very well may go that way based on the original post. If we ignore all the stuff about them talking about selling it, they talk a little bit about their like future intentions with blades. It may very well be the case that we get like an industrial, let's say Prospector. There's an industrial blade for the Prospector that could theoretically modify, it's
anything.
Probably not this, but like anything, right? Like it could be like a cargo capacity minus your still maneuverability, or like plus to your power in general.
Affects your ship less when you're taking off in the whole sea.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah. So that stuff likely will happen. It's just for this initial one, we've just got the two, just maneuvering and speed. I do think in regards to crafting with blades, what I would like to see is, let's say you do get to that tier 3. Because components only go to tier 3, right? Ships go to tier 5.
Correct,
is what they said. So if you get to like that tier 3 of blades, maybe those minuses. Well, one of two things happen. Similar to like mining modules, the more aggressive ones also have way more aggressive drawbacks. So like a Vox C3 will give you a bunch of bonus, but a ton of fail. So like maybe you get like way more speed, way less maneuverability, or it shifts. So like a tier 3 is a little less punishing, but you still get like a big bonus. I'm kind of okay with either of those, and that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, just like another minute or so, Coology, so we can get to other people.
Yeah, it is cool G actually. Okay, just making fun of you.
Cool G. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Yeah, just ignore me. Just ignore me.
You're fine. You're fine. So okay, real quick, I like the idea of again tier implementation. I like the idea that it's a trade-off for passive blades. I actually want to talk about active blades real quick too, just like surge modules. I think again, if we're talking about skills for piloting. I actually wanted them to add actual like active skills like barrel rolls that you could use on a cooldown or something like that. But instead, maybe if you actually have active blades that might act in that sort of sense, that would be really cool. And again, you're burning the module at that point. You're frying it, right? And now you're gonna craft more.
I like that. Yeah, that's cool.
And then the last point that I wanted to make on topic was real quick on monetization, like how Eve has the is to sub token ratio. Because again, I think. The reason I'm indifferent towards the blades being on the market is that ultimately every dollar goes towards the development of the game. Yep. So at the end of the day, all of this stuff balances out, right? So how can they monetize, right? So how Eve has the is to sub token. I don't know if they've changed. I guess you can buy skills now, Mike.
You can buy
so you can
SP. You can buy the points.
Yeah, it does get progressively less. So you get like. If you went real hard and you just spent a stupid amount of money in Eve, eventually diminishing returns is what I was looking for.
Gotcha.
You get less and less skill points as you go further.
So how
making
Eve
it
has
less and less incentivized to do it.
And WoW has the WoW token, right? They have some sort of in-game and out-of-game balance or economy change. So do you guys think AI blades or crews is something in the future that they can use as a revenue source that is like a subscription?
Well,
where the player sets the market, right? You can sell it to other players, the AI crews, for in-game currency.
Only if they're losable. So the problem with
well, they expire 30 days.
Okay. As long as they expire, like with that in mind, then anything goes for me. My issue, big time, with a lot of the things, not anything goes, obviously, but the like after playing Eve. Like seeing some of the systems that they've done and why they're kind of able to get away with it and why it works. Once again, keep in mind, Eve came out with their last year's revenue, and they made $60 million for a 20-year-old game. That's not that far off how much Star Citizen made. All right, so not a dead game.
Much smaller company, much smaller company. Not necessarily much smaller player base, but much smaller company.
Yeah, and we don't know player base wise Star Citizen or Eve, to be honest, that well. But the idea here is that it is a successful funding model, and what this blade thing turned me into thinking was that I would totally be fine if CIG sold a premium currency. That's how bad I think this thing is. Is like, I would rather a premium currency, because then you don't even need to necessarily do the timed thing with the flight plays. It's like, if you just did premium currency and maybe a couple other things, sure, maybe this was maybe a couple other things that were a flight blade like this that would eventually be used up and then disappear, is way better than having to make like really convoluted insurance systems for everything that people spent their real money on, right? So then it's like, oh, so you bought currency to buy that cool armor in the game? Cool. Like, then if you lose that armor, you lose that armor because like you spent the money and it's gone, right? You create this gap between what you spent and playing the game. So it's not good. Neither are good. I don't want to see it in the game, but I accept that game development is really expensive. MMOs are extremely expensive. And then when you tie it on top of the fact that an MMO that's trying to do what Star Citizen is doing is even more expensive, like Star Citizen is way bigger than EVE is, right? In terms of what tech they're trying to use and what they're trying to do. So like, you have to, as a gamer, understand that, yes, I don't consider Star Citizen, like, I'm not going to go from Star Citizen's a business. They're in the business of making profits. No, right now they're in the business of making, like, finishing, of doing what they're trying to do, and they're trying to stay afloat and do it. I understand what they're doing. So it's like, yes, I would be okay with it, but it's still not good. But what are you going to do? Like, we as players have to make concessions that like CIG needs to make money too. But I think most of us are in agreement that this is like one of the worst possible ways you could have done this. Yeah. Like, you have to be an idiot to think that this was going to work. If
they sell AI crew, it cannot be permanent. It cannot be lifetime. It has to be expendable, because everybody wants AI crew and you want to limit it because you want to play with other players, not with just AI, right? Yeah. So they need to find some sort of balance. I think the real life cost of it being a subscription would be the most balanced way of doing it. Yeah. That's all I have.
We appreciate it. We did go a little over time.
Yeah. Mike, last thing is that you promised me a Vandal mask. I don't need it anymore because I found one on Halloween. It's cool.
When did I promise you that, and why?
Last time I was on.
For what?
You said you didn't want it, and I said I tried for like 20 hours trying to get it. And didn't get
it. Okay. Yeah. I wish we interacted. I would have given it to you. I don't care.
I found one. I'm totally cool.
No, I know, but at the time, damn. I'm sorry, man. But
you're good.
Thank you for calling. Literally, we went over because your conversation was that enjoyable, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No worries. Take care. Bye.
Be good.
Thanks a bunch, man. Catch up.
Yeah, that was really good. We might not have the same for all of you.
Have good takes, and then we'll talk to you guys.
And we'll talk to you for longer, and then we'll cut the people who came late sooner. So Alex, welcome. If you can hear me.
Yeah.
All right, welcome, Alex. Howdy. Once again, just guys, try to be as close to your mics as possible, so I don't have to constantly be messing with the audio in the middle, and we can just talk.
Okay. So I was here last week.
Yep.
Well, I didn't say I play mostly on the storefront than the game.
Yep.
Because all the bugs and like my PC is not great.
Okay.
But I do own a Idris and I fly it. It feels a bit sluggish in my liking.
Do you not think it should feel sluggish though? That's like the vibe that I got when I was piloting it. Was like, this is what I expect this vehicle
He's an Idris racing pilot, okay? Relax, Croncy.
I mean, when you attach...
Where's my Idris racing
suit?
Yeah, exactly.
Or flight blade?
Yeah.
Flight blade, yeah.
Yeah, but when you're attaching like a weapon on a pilot and you make it that sluggish, it's kind of a problem.
But shouldn't it be it's hard to balance. At other sluggish ships?
Yeah.
Like, the idea here is that you shoot at other sluggish ships. You do not shoot at Gladius with it, right?
Yeah. That's true. Well, the F5 war is crazy this time. They opened up like 6 waves.
Something broke, right?
Yeah, it broke.
Yeah, they did a couple of things. So the one that I saw was that one of the waves released like 20 minutes early or something. Was one of the ones I saw, and then a bunch of people couldn't get into another one, which, like, obviously I still really don't like the idea of this wave system in general. but like every other company in the world has figured this out. If anyone ever goes and buys like some sort of time limited thing, the example that I'll use specifically here is the secret layers from Wizards of the Coast from Magic the Gathering. What would happen at that time? Let's say it's happening in 5 minutes. Is in 5 minutes when you F5, you get put into a queue. When you then get to the front of your queue, you have 10 minutes to finish your transaction. I do not understand why CRG don't do this.
I mean,
Well,
maybe the website's
the
not
thing
built
is,
out.
if you don't put new money in, it doesn't generate an order, and that's keeping people from like getting the order, and then that's literally wasting time and until everything is sold out. That's what we had. And when people buying only with the store credit, and we have like 5 people logging to the same account helping him to get it, and we couldn't get it. Like that's like for like 2 waves. That's just a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And I also feel like if you open up the limit for Idris, will make more money than like selling blades. Honestly.
Sure.
Yeah,
I make it like
it's
5 times more.
I don't disagree with that, and there's this weird logic that CIG has with this, where they're trying to limit the amount of Idris that people can buy, but it will be available for like if you're able to buy it on the store, then the inverse would be, well, I need to be able to earn it in the game. So if I'm able to earn it in the game, there will be infinite Idris that I can earn in the game. Why would there not be infinite Idris then to earn on the store? Because it's the logic breaks.
The thing that I guess I would fight there is like you could obviously say FOMO.
Yeah.
That works to a point. But like they're releasing so many right now that I don't think it works as much anymore. Like that's still going to work for any of the ships that aren't out yet.
But they're not releasing enough to meet demand.
Yeah, when you pre-order something and then when it's like out in the window, I feel like the rates should be different.
No.
That's just me. And second thing is the Warbound CCU this year is bad. Like the first one is like spend $10, save $10, which is the worst. And then the second one is like Nautilus, which is it doesn't come out for like at least 2 years.
They lowered the price of the Nautilus, right? And the it's first ship that's ever had its price lowered, I think.
And it's chain up from Perseus. You know Perseus is gonna go up priced when it released. So you have to like hold it for like at least 2 years.
Hold on. I don't play the CCU game. It's chained within the Perseus that people are using?
No, the closest is the Perseus.
So how does that affect the CCU game? Does it?
So if the Perseus gets released, it will definitely go up price. It will maybe like overprice the price over the Nautilus, which is like negative like savings. So you will save no money unless the Nautilus go up price.
So for me, like when I saw the price reduce, I was like, oh, they're trying to nab idiots who are going to buy a picture of a ship that they're never planning on releasing before until the game is already out or already released into 1.0.
It's worse than that.
It's actually worse than that. It's malicious to try to break the CCU chains that people are doing.
No, it's just the fact that the Perseus happened to be the one that before it.
Okay, maybe I just don't understand because I am not in that world whatsoever.
And the third one is even worse. Like Super Hornet Mark 1 is like you can't even buy it anymore, and it's chained up to like Constellation Taurus.
And
that one is Anyways, I feel like those can be fixed if they just open up more Idris.
This guy just wants to buy more Idris, dude. He wants his friend to get an Idris. That's it.
The next thing is
very, very, very quick because we're trying to keep these a bit shorter today.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't like the idea of the blade. I feel like when I first heard of the blade, I feel like it's like FSD in Tesla, so I can like plot on a map and then it just it's autopiloting to the destination. I feel like that's the way.
You don't like that it raises
like the
speed, like
mechanics?
it's tuning?
No, it's tuning in every other game, like how to say, like the FPS game, like the Call of Duty or like Delta Force. It's like the free. It's like the free thing. You gain something and you lose something. That's tuning, but not the components. That's completely different. So it's not like attachments.
Because you
I think
don't.
I'm a little.
If that makes sense.
But like power plants, you gain, like for an industrial power plant, you gain power, but you lose stealth because it's more signature.
Yeah, but like how does that open up to the like future careers, like the tuner or whatever? You're just buying stuff.
I think you're feeding
you're thinking of something else, I think.
the imaginary reality of what Star Citizen might be, and I don't know if there will be a tuning career if you're selling components that tune your ships.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, like this
I think that idea may have changed. Like when they talked about tuning being a thing, the game was a very different thing. So if you look back at old videos and are like excited by something, be careful with that, because the game has changed in many different ways than just planets getting bigger and stuff like that too. That may not happen. So I'm not saying it won't, but it might not, just because of the history of things. And based on all the decisions they're making, the idea of a tuner sounds further and further away than before, because crafting kind of has taken over that, right?
Yeah. Which in my opinion is okay. Like
me too. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
A tuner career sounds like a very, very complex system. Probably too much. Well, you can never say
too much for
complicated
CIG. Too much for CIG.
Definitely, too much for CIG. I think it is fine for us to have, like, essentially what this is, right, is just a new component that can modify a lot of the kind of like base stats of a hull. Which opens up a lot of really interesting customization options, and that's all it is. And that's still good, which is why I enjoy the mechanic idea itself. Obviously, I want to see more than just maneuverability and speed. But yeah, I guess I don't have the same problem that you.
Yeah, the only positive I can take from the blades is probably they're going with a direction to allows you to customize your ship.
More to your liking.
Exactly.
Totally agree. Yeah. But that, I think when we heard what the blades were gonna do, it was like super exciting. I think like I was reading it and my face was like, "Whoa, this is cool," and then it was like, "Holy shit, what's happening?" And then like while I was reading the post that they did. But Alex, that's where we're gonna leave you today. So sorry to cut you off, but there's so many people behind you. This doesn't normally happen.
I saw the green room is crazy.
So have a great one, and just enjoy your Idris, and hopefully your friend will get one in future waves, man.
Hopefully,
All right, catch you.
Mate.
All right. Our next caller is a Warbot Nix. Warbot Nix is next. And whoever is moderating, because I can't see you, thank you for moving people down the waiting room. You're amazing, because you're saving my life.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Warbot, you unmuted.
And I was double muted. Hardware.
Hey, there we go.
All right. Hey there. What I'm about to like go through I may not have enough time for. So, but are you guys familiar with the community manager Galaxica?
Yes. Does this have to do with Flight Blades, the Idris, or no?
Oh yes, a little bit with the monetization with the Flight Blades.
Go for it then.
Yes. So basically, me and my org, we came from World of Warships.
Okay.
A very similar funding model. That, believe it or not, why like a lot of Star Citizen is doing, up until now, has been pretty acceptable, because we were used to this. You buy the ship, it goes into your game, you experience it. And there was a huge incident that happened 3 years ago, and that's actually, I think, about the time when Galaxica left Wargaming.
So she was a community manager there?
Yes. So she has the full scoop on it. Yeah, she has the full scoop on it. So if I don't get through it, at any point you can ask her about it. But what happened was, there were 2 major events that happened in World of Warships, and Star Citizen starting to, and a lot of my org mates who came from World of Warships to Star Citizen, we felt deja vu, because the community backlash to this was very similar to what happened in World of Warships.
Yeah.
And Star Citizen is just at that like tipping point to get to that problem. I'm like, uh-oh.
What happened?
Don't let this happen.
Did
so what happened
keep
was
doing what they were doing, and the game's still
Yeah,
alive,
so-
right? So
the game is still alive, but their player count has plateaued and slightly decreasing since then.
wow.
So what happened was,
surprise. Holy
Yep.
shit.
exactly, deja vu here.
Yeah, except
So-
it's a little different because this game doesn't have what its player base would even be yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's
the funny
even
part. World of
crazier.
Warships is technically not a 1.0 game either.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, so World of Warships employed the whole entire like, premium ships,
Uh-huh.
and there's in-game earnable ships. So a lot of the ships are exclusive to the store. You cannot get them. And then over time, they started implementing new ways of monetization. Go figure. And they actually tried to get feedback from. So one of the first events was they tried to get feedback from their community content creators, because they also had a content creator club, kind of similar to Star Citizen. They have like the made by community stamp on it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was is that they were trying to get their opinion on monetization. What do you want to do about this? And lo and behold, most content creators like, no, don't do this. And months later, they did it. They started doing a lot of weird things like exclusive bundling, which we are now experiencing here. So
Yep.
in order to get just a paint, so if you go to actually World of Warships store right now, they actually started their big event, their Dunkirk event and Azure Lane event at the same day as Invictus, and I sat there going, holy bundles, Batman.
So what
if
you're
I
saying
wanted,
is Galactica did this.
no,
We should blame her.
no, but
I'm
Damn
sorry.
community managers.
I'm sorry if you see this.
But you
I
can
mean no
ask her for
harm.
the full story.
Okay,
But
okay.
basically, the second big thing that happened in World of Warships, which I do not think Star Citizen has done it yet. Oh God, I don't know why I say that. But Star Citizen hasn't done it. Is they really like did one of their biggest community like content creators dirty. So apparently, it was it was one that contributed pretty much all the guys, the stats that everyone turned to, and they were working, and then they got invited, or maybe bad communication, whatever Wargaming wants to say, was they were working on a special ship for Canada to celebrate Canada Day, and they were going months and months and months, and then somewhere down the road, the community team that was working with them was either laid off or removed, and then they worked with a new community team, and they took none of the contributions of the content creator and just threw it at the door and threw out a very worthless, overpriced ship that took no feedback from that content creator, and that content creator, was very disappointed, and then the entire community was like, enough is enough. And then they lost so many of their content creators, and they just all left the program and everything.
Yeah.
So
this has happened through lots of games history where it's not just content creators, but like Burn, Jita, and Eve and stuff like that when they don't like certain things.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
So why us in the World of Warships, like, refugees coming over to Star Citizen, we call ourselves that now, is that we're noticing this trend now in Star Citizen's monetization, because exclusive timed bundles, that was one of the first things. And then the thing that was ticked off the community, was something called random bundles, where like it's just short. And also, one criticism to you, Mike: this is not a gacha game. What are my rates? What are my gacha rates?
Yeah. I've never played a gacha game. It's just a exaggeration.
Mike,
I
you
guess.
gotta get into it. They're so addictive.
They are addictive, and unfortunately, I am in many of them. But we will not talk about my terrible spending habits.
Look, I just talked earlier about how I play Magic the Gathering. That's the ultimate gacha game.
At least you're getting amazing art that you can you can display even if the game dies out. Like my
True.
Yu-Gi-Oh
My
cards are
JPEGs
right
are on
next to
pieces
me.
of cardboard. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, and my Yu-Gi-Oh cards are shiny. All right,
Yeah.
but I'm running out of time. But basically, what we are worried is that they will take the wrong lessons because Wargaming put out a massive thing here for the next. For ongoing, we promise, and all on paper, this massive document that we won't do this. They kept to it for exactly 9 months, and then it started happening. The early access stuff got worse. So basically, what the pattern was, they put out a premium ship that would be like this specifically new way of playing this class or ship, and it's only in the premium store. You have to, so it's paywalled.
If
then
you want to experience it, you got to do it now.
Yeah. And then they have the early access event where these are supposed to be normally it would just like you can earn these ships you earn the ships by playing the game, go figure, by grinding up the ship lines. But the early access ships basically you would only be able to earn the lowest tier of that early access ship during the event, and then you would have to go through monetization or loot boxes to attempt to get the higher ships, which would eventually become free within 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
So
where did they learn this from? Galactica.
Actually, Wargame. Oh no, I'm sorry.
She's the secret CEO of CIG.
No, it's like obviously like all these games do the same thing, right? So
Yeah,
they're just
but
successful games.
Yeah, I think she left. I think she left Wargaming right after this happened, I believe, or right before it. So she might be familiar with the whole entire event. But basically, what we are hoping and what I'm hoping is that they do not go down the same path that Wargaming did, because it's basically now Wargaming is on, let's just do branded content like Fortnite and Magic the Gathering. No offense, I'm actually not a big fan of Magic's branded content. Although
get this guy off
the
phone.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we have to soon. Hurry up. Get to the point.
Yeah, actually, genuinely finish your thought.
Yeah.
All right, but we do hope that they do not take the wrong lessons, because as you said, like the skins I really want, but they're tied to something I really, really do not want to support.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's about it for that. And other than that, like this would have been the best Invictus ever, as you said. Like Idris, MTC, Asgard, like these are really big winners. TAC, almost there, not really.
And
nobody likes
the servers aren't necessarily performing great right this second, but like at least for the first few days, it was really good. And like like, it was a slam dunk home run, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But we do have to let you go. It's been 10 minutes.
Yes.
So thank you very much for giving us that info and letting us know all about that. And cheers for calling.
I was kind of enthralled by it, so it was cool. Thanks, Warbot.
Great.
All right, take care. Stay safe.
Gotcha.
Blame Galactica. All right, let's go. Shark Bite.
I feel like we've said it too much. We don't actually blame Galactica.
No, not at all. We literally started the podcast with like, you can't blame one individual for any of this. There's lots of people who go into these decisions. It's silly. It's like human condition that you want to blame one person for a problem. Like people were like, what does Sandy have to do with this? It's like, no, guys, no. It's a group. There's 1,000 people there, and whoever might have stood up wasn't loud enough or didn't have enough power. No. So other people let this happen, and it was people, not person. If you want to blame one guy, you could probably blame Chris, but that's like as far as it can go, right? It's
true. If Star System didn't exist, this wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Well, like he's the final say kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, all right, Sharks Bite, what's up, dude? Hello?
I'm muted currently.
We've just been talking in his ear the whole time.
Shark Bite.
Sharks.
Oops, sorry. I thought I was only hardware muted. I was gonna start it with because Galactica took all my time, but you guys already. So I'll be as quick as possible.
Lovely.
Jumping right to the main thing that I was going to say about at least my take on the whole engineering versus blades thing. In 2023, they did the whole large panel on engineering, and then they did an Inside Star Citizen even more recently on it. To me, this sounds like it's going to be like the first, not implementation of engineering because we can't tune them per se, but like when engineering comes out, they're going to give us like maybe a custom blade or something like that we get to go into like our power bars in our main power system right now and add or remove stats that way. That's kind of how I interpreted like the tuning part, at least so far.
Which, by the way, I'll very quickly touch on because you've mentioned engineering. Because we didn't talk about Con 42 very quickly. Apparently, during Con 42, a engineering tech preview is coming soon. So just wanted to.
Yeah. So we'll see if I'm at all right or wrong in a month or so. But that's kind of how I am guessing that they're going to go with the implementation for tuning. And so like you'll be able to probably put more or less depending on your skill or whatever, however they decide to do your skill levels. And then as far as crafting versus purchasing, I'm a little bit more lax than Mike and some other people on this. As long as you're only able to buy the base tier, I don't really care as long as you can get it in game. I wish they wouldn't just put it in stores. I wish you'd have to like spend script on it or whatever, because you can get script in a bunch of different ways now, or especially with this event. But because people were complaining about them paywalling the components and whatever. Some MMOs do this thing where like whatever class you're playing, you have a significantly reduced chance of getting those drops. Like the best PvP equipment for Star Citizen, you would find in PvE. The best PvE equipment you'd find in PvP, so that those players have to trade. And I'm not 100% for like hard walling that, but I think that maybe having a more significant percentage chance of getting those kinds of rewards would encourage the kind of interaction. And then just make sure that stuff degrades at a rate where you need to keep feeding it parts from the cheaper ones that people are crafting, so that you have this economy that's consuming.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It just,
yeah,
for me,
I mean, that's...
I've said it a million times, like, I think destruction breeds this really healthy player type economy.
Yeah.
People can't handle destruction, so
it's a successful model that's where even if it never breaks down all the way, even if you don't lose it all the way, if the efficacy of it goes down, like in Black Desert, how your armor degrades over time as you use it, and you got to keep building it back up, it's a money sink. It gives you a reason to either break down into parts people's crafted equipment, not break down into materials, but like someone builds a low-grade engine, but you take the parts off of it and put them in to replace the parts as they're breaking down on your high-grade engine or whatever. Something like that, where you still have to go through the crafting process. You can't just dump raw materials into it. And that means that everyone is still consuming all of the cheapest stuff that's the base level crafting. You see... Yeah, as far as servers, I was having major input delay yesterday. Like I got off after a while. But
I heard like people couldn't even log into the game at a point, and they were all blaming us playing an arena commander.
Yeah. Let's see. As far as like the whole people getting upset thing, I thought it was really funny. Just before the announcement was made, where they're like, "Okay, we won't do this," someone had been telling me, "Oh, petitions don't do anything. Oh, your threads aren't useful." I'm like,
your voice doesn't matter.
When was the last time that this happened? And I listed it. I'm like, okay, so it hasn't changed long term.
The fact that they responded at all, though, right?
Yeah. I got raged at when I complained about when they released the Addles. By the way, the shooter version should be called the Gatless.
Oh yeah, that's
not mine, but
that is coming. That's coming. They said that at Con 42 that it's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the biggest thing here, like Mike said earlier, is precedent. That's why this was such a big deal. It's not this particular thing. It is this thing, but the bigger thing is setting the precedent or stopping them from setting the precedent.
Yep.
And then like anytime I've brought up the CIG has a communication problem, like a messaging problem, people are like, no, they don't. Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that they could do is, and I've said it before, have a combination of some content creators, sure, but players who are randomly cycled in and out of this, but who are active players that are put into a focus group. They're like, hey, we're going to release such and such feature, or we're thinking about doing it this way. What do you guys think of this? What are the problems that you foresee that the community will have issues with? Why not? Rate it on points. And then that doesn't necessarily make the decision, but it gives them input to expect, like, oh, this is going to be a firestorm. We need to give Xylo a raise.
I see people in chat are saying, like, that's Evo Cadi. No, it's not. That's like
Evo Cadi have no say on.
not.
Evo Cadi don't talk about like what kind of things are coming out. They just test.
Yeah, but what I can argue with is that the lack of NDA that actually exists on anything Evo Cadi is a testament to why they may not have done that yet. Is they have no control over what's being said after. I think it's a lot more different if it's like, hey, we're thinking about doing this. You might be the only one who is hearing that we think we're going to do this. If this gets out, you will be sued. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas
you don't tell the people what version, or exactly.
Yeah.
You don't tell people what version of the thing they're reading. You include a little piece A or piece B, so that if it gets leaked, you know exactly where it came from.
Exactly. I think that would be a fantastic idea.
You're at 7 minutes.
You're at 7
Sorry,
minutes.
just very quickly.
Saying.
Yeah. And just very quickly, in addition to that, like it is not just like the Eve Council that is an example of what you said about. Warbotniks just told us about an exact example where that happened in World of Warships.
Yeah.
And they talked to people in the community. They didn't take the advice in that story.
Yeah.
Classic.
But, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the only last thing is please, CIG, release the Glaive and the Scythe next month at Alien Week. You've given everyone their F8Cs and their Idrises. I want my Glaive.
That's exactly what I said the moment the F8 came out. It was like, oh, if that's okay, then everything should be okay. So the people who are spending like $3,000 on the Scythe in the aftermarket just get absolutely screwed. I don't want them to get screwed. I don't think that's good, but I never want people to like lose money. It's just like the whole thing that Star Citizen has perpetuated over these years is not a good thing. Yeah. So if some of that breaks down,
anyway,
I wouldn't be exactly mad.
Yep.
Anyway, other than that, I released some cool shorts if you want to check them out. They're recruiting people for the Vanduul if you want to fight against the
Polaris
so-called Empire. Yeah. Well, no, for the whole humanity. Their explosions are useless.
All right,
anyway,
do your Vanduul outro.
Cheers, Sharkbite.
Later, Sharkbite. All right, Captain Clutch is next. Captain Clutch, you are here.
How are you doing?
You are live. Speak now.
You are muted.
Or you will be kicked.
Going once.
Go up.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, there we go. Hello.
How's it going, guys?
How's it going?
Going all right.
Not that bad. Sorry, got some kids yelling in the background.
All right.
All good.
For now. We might have to let you go if it's too bad, but what do you want to talk about?
Just the whole stupidity with the flight blades, I guess.
All right, let's hear it.
So with the update, they kind of said it's just going to be the way they're going to sell things moving forward. With that in mind, I don't think this is going to be a popular idea, but what do you guys think? Would you possibly separate the two PUs, one with pledge store purchases and one kind of like a 0 to hero PU?
I believe what I've said about this is I believe that nobody would play the hardcore one necessarily, and at least initially they would, but I think the way CIG has done this is it's so damn convenient that it's too good to the pledge store. So it's like they have created so many problems with their game and sold solutions that I don't think it would be good. I also don't think separating player bases would be good, but people are forgetting that Star Citizen will almost certainly never be a single shard. So
yeah, no.
Yeah. I would play on a hardcore server, but I think I would be playing with very few people and it wouldn't be as enjoyable. I think what they did was with Eve, they had like a Chinese server, but they've combined all them together now to it. So I just don't think it would work, but that's me. I mean, maybe one day after the game's been out for a while, like, hey, I want more of a challenge. So whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. I always thought I was kind of in the minority. I kind of like the struggle, but yeah, all the money spent already, it'd be hard to convince people, I guess.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like a lot of us do run like hardcore runs just in the game.
Yeah.
Mike was talking earlier about how he's got like his 0 to hero account that he jumped into 411. It's just as like a feature, it's certainly not something you want until the game is more established.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then back to the flight blades. People always get worried about the funding for the game. Do you think if they came out and just said, you know what, we're not making as much money as we thought we would, we need to make some more money, this is why we're doing it, do you think the reception would be better?
No.
No.
They are making more money.
Yeah. I
Be
made
more
a
efficient.
note that I was going to say at the end of the podcast, which is because I've been seeing a lot of people say CIG need to make money, or like God forbid CIG sell something. If this is how you're going to try to make money, that is a bad business practice, straight up. So do something else. Sell something better. Sell something that isn't going to alienate the community. That's how you do that, right? Like if they do need money, there are ways that they can do that, like releasing the Idris. That's made that presumably, because obviously we don't have the hard data, but presumably that has been the thing that's made them a ton of this money in the last few days, right? And that is a lot better perceived amongst the community. So I think it, I don't think that is a remotely good excuse.
Oh, I agree. They're so bad at communicating. The honesty would be refreshing is all.
Yeah, I mean, listen, honesty would be nice, but it's like, I think the response would be, well, then be more efficient with what you're doing. Like, there's no way that we should have to sacrifice the game itself in order for you to complete your tasks. Like, there's clear inefficiencies that are going on, things coming in bugged that shouldn't be bugged, and money being spent that clearly shouldn't be, like, that money that has been wasted. Like, people are like, well, they have 800 million. No, they don't. They literally blew it all. Like, that's what's happened. They've blown it all to try to build this tech for an imaginary idea that may still not be possible to deliver. Whose fault is that? It's not mine, right?
Oh, no,
you sold us on the idea, and it took you $800 million to deliver on a percentage of it. That's not my fault. So I think people would react. It wouldn't be the same thing as, like, I watched this guy who does like lawn care on YouTube, and his big thing is he goes into other lawn care businesses and fixes them, like bar rescue shit. But for lawn care, it's YouTube is an awesome place.
Is it as ridiculous? Because I would love to see it. It's like, this guy's been stealing all your grass.
No, it's not ridiculous at all. It's pretty like down to earth and basic. And like he will, one of the things he'll always ask them to do is, like, when you're in a bad situation, like, tell these people that, because they think that, you know, you're making money hand over fist, but like you haven't paid yourself for months, kind of thing. And that works in those situations. But like, I don't think that would work here, you know?
Yeah. There's also, like, if you say, like, if CIG
like
say,
they
hey,
ran the company to the ground, you know, like, I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah. And if CIG say, hey, look, we're not making enough money, so we need to start selling these things, to any backer that's spent like any amount of money, that is such a cop out.
Yeah.
Like, cool, I've spent $3,000 on the game. Why the fuck haven't you made enough money? This is not my fault. I've spent $3,000 on this fucking game, right?
Yeah. The difference with like that relationship is, like, you're telling the employees that you're not getting rich while they're struggling. In this case, we're not being paid and we're not getting a finished product either, right? So it's like the openness doesn't do any benefit to them, I don't think, at all. You know, they'll be open when the ship syncs. That's when we'll find out. We won't find out before then, unfortunately. So, yeah. Anything else you want to say, or?
Oh, I'm gonna run out the door. I have waited longer than I thought I was gonna have to, so I'm a little short for time now.
All right, perfect.
One more thing I will say is, Mike, you have completely convinced me to try and give EVE Online a go finally.
Fuck yeah,
let's go.
Let's go. I hope you end up liking it. We'll see. I mean, it's a good game, but it's a lot different than Star Citizen. So a lot of similarities, but a lot of differences. I hope you like it. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun.
Well, I will. I'll give you guys an update on that and let you know how that's going.
Please do. All right, bro. Catch you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye now.
Cheers, mate.
Our next caller is Farfig. Farfig, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Holy, somebody who's ready.
Cutlet's
Let's
been
go.
very excited about you being in the calls. So
no. Let me disappoint him. Really quick piggyback on the last guy. Old school RuneScape is sort of like a hardcore spin-off of the original RuneScape. It switched because it got a lot of toxic monetization. But the main point is, the more the pledge store grows, the more the game shrinks.
Yeah,
is my issue.
For you though, like that's the problem. Is I keep seeing people go like, I don't care, but does that make it okay? Right? Like that's the part that I'm struggling with. Is like I can't argue against the way they're feeling, but I feel totally different than them.
Well, if I buy my ship online, I buy my armor online, I buy my components online, I buy my tuning online. What am I doing in the game?
But the argument is you don't have to. And that's the part that's the disconnect where they're getting away with this.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing for it. I'm like trying.
Yeah,
if we're gonna fight
this,
if we're gonna fight this, we have to have a clear argument that just crushes that. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to argue against it, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine if you took your data running ship to Ghost Hollow with a blank data chip and you made your tuning kit versus swiping. Like, there's gameplay or there's
would be more fun.
Yeah,
that would be more fun.
Which also is like a good point. I think that's why this hurts extra. Is it felt like it was also like it immediately felt like it was going to be an in-game reward thing.
Yeah,
because that's what they've been doing for the last few months.
Like, dude, they go exactly in line with like the training with Gilly. Like at the end, you'll get your flight blade to make your ship more the way you want it. Like I literally thought that's what was going to happen. And then they just hit you in the face. Like it came out of nowhere for a studio that sells everything. Like I just got hit in the face with something that I just wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
that hurt.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So that was my main point is like there's not enough gameplay there's not enough things for us to do in the PU currently. If there's more things distracting me, I don't think I'd notice them selling components or things on the web store if I had better way of earning them in game.
I mean, the best example is how popular was Hathor.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn popular, right? Because it was like the only way to do this was to play. And then you had a bunch of dorks on Spectrum complaining that they couldn't do it. Like, but they would have been able to eventually, right? So then
are they selling that armor on the pledge store now? Or not that it like super matters, but
there was a Spectrum thread this morning with some payer begging for it. I really want that armor. It's really beautiful, but I don't want to play for it. And it's just like, bro, these are video. Like, what is the world? What is going on? Like, these are video games. Game, guys, play the game.
I want to launch the game. I want to have a goal, and like, okay, we can all work together and getting to Polaris is a cool goal to work for. But it'd be a little bit cooler if they didn't sell Polaris on the web store, and that's the only way you could have gotten it. But I get it. I mean, that's the game I signed up for is buying the spaceship. But aside from that, I want other things to unlock and earn.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they got me the Red Wind boxes for getting delivery rep, but I think they'll
Where are those?
sell those in the pledge store. They're going to be in the pledge store.
Probably. Because they've made them. Right? Yeah. So they'll do something. They'll be, you know where they'll end up? Subscriber store.
Yeah.
That's where they'll end up for sure. Damn, I gave them the idea.
Very good, Mike. I mean, all these
it's
issues
not
are
Galactica's fault anymore. It's mine. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take all the heat for her now.
The fact that they said you don't lose anything, and the best way to get it is the pledge store to get warranty, insurance, whatever. That makes anything that they sell. It's not a line in the sand. It's like a cement post in the ground. It's like we can't move this because they spent money, and they have to build the game around all these cement posts that are scattered around.
Yep, and you just keep banging into them while you're trying to play. It's brutal.
Which I also it's a good ping. Sorry, I just had a stroke. It's a good point to bring off about the insurance stuff, because this is also like, we've had like bad selling practices from CRG before. This is one of the first big ones since they did that talk about insurance. So like the full scope of why this is bad hits a bit harder.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, well, if he paid for it, he never has to even try to get it back if he lost. Like, he can't lose
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
There's no losing here. This isn't
There's
a
just no
unique or
penalty.
special item. Yeah. So
that's all I have.
All right. Well, that's
Thank
good.
you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. We appreciate it, and it's nice to have a nice quick call. It's also nice to have the long ones.
Yeah,
so we appreciate you, man. So we might be able to get to I don't think we'll bring anybody into the waiting room anymore. Hopefully we can get to Cutlet.
Yeah.
Because he's the last one in the list. Oh, I accidentally kicked him out. Sorry, Farfig. I let go of my mouse. I'm so sorry. All right, let's go to the next caller, Nitro Hawk. Nitro Hawk. Hello.
Nitro Hawk.
Hello.
Hey.
Howdy. Yeah, 5 minutes. Go.
All right. So first things first, I feel like as far as like crafting and stuff goes, that was a whole big part of how you basically would like upgrade your ship for like speed and stuff like that as far as like the flight blades go. And it really feels like, I mean, I've seen tests and stuff on the flight blades, and they feel they have very minimal impact.
So my understanding has been the opposite, but that has once again purely been from Zero State. So he could be could be lying to me. A difference of reaching max speed in, I think it's 60% of the time, is a huge difference. That is crazy. So I don't think it is like they only do a little different.
With that, it kind of just feels like they're replacing aspects of crafting, though. Like either you have the flight blades and you craft your ship to be, a lot faster and stuff like that, where it's like, okay.
Well, the pledge store is replacing them. Like
exactly.
If you were crafting these initially, it wouldn't be an issue, would it?
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
It really feels like with it being, Invictus and all that, it kind of feels like they're targeting newer players who don't know as much. I mean, Invictus with the free fly and all that stuff is obviously trying to bring in new money from new players and stuff, but having that right there, maybe players don't know, oh yeah, you're gonna be able to craft, maybe craft or buy flight blades later, or just craft your ship to be faster and stuff like that. It's like, I mean, I'm not gonna buy it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I am protesting just like I did with the Atlas. I protested with that. I never bought one, refused to buy one. The Golem or the Geo I might have got, I can't remember. I think I did, but the original Atlas, which was like, this is a better tractor beam, which set up for this. That was them testing the waters, and you guys let them get away with it then. Like, that's why this keeps getting worse and worse. So, I mean, that wasn't the start of this.
Even then, it wasn't like a full let them get away with it. There was even like the backlash for that. Also, they were like, all right,
forced
guys,
it in right away.
Tractor beams will be like okay for now. You don't 100% need the Atlas yet, right?
Yeah, and then they put it in game very quickly to be like, see, and people were like, okay, that's fine, and I was like, no, that's not fine. And then, and now here we are. So,
and I mean, with something like that, they're gonna get any kind of money they possibly can out of it.
Yeah.
Like, luckily, I had a little bit of store credit, so like with the Atlas, I was like, you know what, I'll test it out, see if it's worth it or whatever. But I wasn't gonna put in new money for essentially just a tractor beam.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with Croncy here. The Gray Cat MTC is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just a better Ursa. It's
Exactly,
a little bit
yeah.
smaller. It fits in things a little better. You can actually put a big weapon in there. I don't know why they really have the armor racks and stuff, but
yeah,
whatever.
I think it's also important to note as well, like the complaints about there still not being enough ground vehicle content is 100% valid, and I am one of the people that will shout that from the rooftops constantly because I want to use my tonk like in an actual mission for once. But a lot of these kinds of ones are usually like onboarding tasks for some of the ship workers.
Yeah.
And as it goes, I think they did a pretty good job. It just needs more content. It needs more gameplay.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
that's all my only
I
knockaround vehicles. There's no reason for them.
Yeah. I mean, I still use them every now and then just to use them as far as like doing like bunker missions here and there or something like that where I'm like, okay, I'm getting shot at. I can just drive in, whatever. One little thought I had was, I know this probably isn't the reason. It probably is FOMO for big ships like the Idris, but maybe just for the time being to have less huge capital ships on the servers for now. Maybe that's why they're keeping them a little more minimal.
Sort of. I mean, that kind of goes a little bit with what they were saying, but they just wanted like less capital ships in general, is what they originally said. I don't know if they believe that, but I at the very least, I would say like what the last like day or two has shown me is like I don't think that's necessary. I think it's okay for us to have them out there, and they seem to be okay with the service for the most part. Obviously, I've been getting a lot of reports from today that it's gone to shit. But like when we were playing it yesterday, it worked pretty well. It was enjoyable, and even within the context of just like a lot of people in multiple capital ships, doing a mission.
Yeah. As far as like the Idris goes and stuff like that, like I do have an Idris with the K kit, and as far as like getting rid of all the smaller missions for like Gilly and stuff like that goes, very easy to complete them. You point the laser, shoot, you complete the mission. But I have noticed that whenever there's like multiple ships around, it is such a pain to try to turn and like aim at them with that. Where, like me, as majority of the time I'm a solo player, I do have friends that play, but not as often. Not having people on the turrets and stuff like that makes it to where I don't even want to use the Idris. Because I can't cover my 6. Which exactly, which is good because I know a majority of the players probably play single player, which even if they sell, 1 million Idrises, they're not going to be as useful by yourself.
Which I mean, is exactly what I want. I am everything you just described is perfect gameplay to me.
Hopefully that'll incentivize people to play multi-crew or use smaller ships, so then they don't have too many big ships out
Guys,
there.
they're selling AI blades after the flight blades. Like,
that is true.
Yeah.
But they're gonna come right out, Mike. So that's fine. They're not going to be
totally
immediately
fine because they're going to be in game at the same time, so everybody can solo an Idris. This is why we made server meshing, so everyone can solo an Idris. Apparently.
Yep.
Instead of playing the game together in a game world.
And on that, you're at about 7 minutes, so we're gonna have to cut you short. Unfortunately,
that's totally fine. That's pretty much all I had to say anyway. So
awesome. Loved the call. Thank you very much for calling in. We'll catch you around soon.
Perfect.
All right.
Cheers.
I just exploded. Next up, Eric.
Eric, you have 5 minutes. Go.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure can.
All right. I'm going to read off of a paragraph I wrote. Should CIG remove the language around pledges? A pledge defined a solemn promise or undertaking. This implies pre-ordering, whereas here you can just buy items, ships, paints, etc. under the guise of a pledge. I personally think they use the term pledge in place of the word donation. Donate $300 and you can play with our toys. Sorry, a little nervous.
Good, man.
See. They aren't actually selling a game. You can't buy Star Citizen. You can pledge for a game package and they'll give you access. Does this sound true to you guys?
Yes. As in, like, that's the language they use 100%.
Yeah.
They use it interchangeably, right?
Right. And I think
that is not how
abuse
people
it.
play the game. People play the game as if they are actually purchasing things that they own.
Right.
But CRG certainly use it to mean like, well, no, it's just a donation, and like sometimes when they respond, and this is one of the like first reactions I had to the Xylo post, which may have been unfounded, but one of the reactions I had was like, wow, this is so like ungrateful and like,
yeah,
you're just not getting it, right?
it was basically like, we hear you, but I don't give a fuck, is how it came off, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. We're what 12 years in at this point. Like, when are they going to treat it like a game? Like,
I mean, they're trying to. They say that they're trying to now, with the like, hey, we're gonna make sure things come in and work, and we're gonna work on bugs and everything like that. And then on the same tune, we do not test the Polaris mission correctly. None of the bomb racks that you were trying to sell even work. The thing on the Scorpius doesn't work. The Idris stuff doesn't work. Like, everything that you didn't test with us was broken for the most part, I think.
Yeah.
So like, you just create, like, of the 200 bugs you fixed, you just created 50. Good job. Good job. Another rant. I can't. You guys are making me rant. The last few callers are making me rant too much. I'm stopping.
And then I had just a small thing. Do you think they're gonna try to monetize Squadron in any shady ways, like they're doing with SC?
Oh, probably.
I think
but like the question is like,
pocket
how
all the
shady?
money.
Right.
I think they're just going to pocket all the money, and it won't go to Star Citizen's development. So every dollar you spent on an Idris didn't make Star Citizen happen necessarily. It just lined their pockets. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably. I think more the question is like, will they do like, here comes the Squadron thing as part of it. You get like a free Gladius and Star Citizen, or like
extra
whatever
skins. You can buy extra skins for it in game, or like just extra.
Exactly. Yeah.
We just want a video game.
I'd be fine with that. I don't care if like have whatever you want in Squadron. It's a single player game. It has no effect on anything.
Yeah, but that's the thing. No, so once again, like you monetize Squadron through Star Citizen. Scummily, right? So it's like if you pre-order Squadron, you get access to the Gladius Mark II. In thing, and no one else.
You're being like morphologists in the post. You guys just keep giving them ideas that they're going to use against us.
I will say, I am optimistic that they won't do that specifically. What I would think they would do instead. I'm optimistic. I'm an optimistic guy. I think they'll do like skins. They'll do like hanger flare. Right, that's the sort of stuff I imagine they'll push with Squadron. Mike died. Mike is dead. You gotta be optimistic sometimes, Mike.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I don't know. Just from I've only been
about flight blades.
Yeah.
I was
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only been in the Star Citizen community for about 18 months at this point. Just kind of watching the game from afar, and it seemed like it was getting into a more playable state, so I jumped in.
Yeah, which like it has. It certainly has.
It is. They're making a lot of great progress, but then they do dumb stuff with the flight blades and just the extra monetization. Like so when I first jumped in, I didn't know that they sold gear on the store. I knew about the ships. Everybody knew about the ships.
Yep.
But there's all the gear stuff, and skins are fine, whatever. I really, at some point, if what they say is true, like if what their intention is true, what they tell us is true, they have to get away from the pledge store. They have to get rid of it. I don't think they're going to.
They can't get rid of it. They just have to be less shit.
Yeah.
Less shit.
Yeah.
It's never going to be perfect. You can't make everybody happy, but you can't make everybody unhappy, which is what's happening right now. or most, I should say. We're obviously not everybody, but yeah.
Yeah. That has been 5 minutes though, Eric. So we've got so many calls today. We're gonna push it out, but thank you so much for calling in.
Before
awesome.
you go, do you make Eve videos?
I don't.
Okay, you sound like a guy who does.
I was gonna say you got the voice of it.
Tried out Eve a little while ago. I don't like how it controls. I'm
totally fine. You just literally sound like an Eve creator, and I thought you were hiding, and I was going to expose you.
No, I just started doing Tarkov lore videos actually. But
sick!
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
That's dope.
Nice. So. Plug your channel before you go, quick.
Oh, Dead Tired. You can search Dead Tired or Dead Tired Media, and it should pop up.
Let's go.
So
have a great one, Eric.
Awesome.
I'll check you out.
Thank you.
Bye now. I love Tarkov videos, so I'm definitely going to be checking that out. All right, next caller is Blurred Citizen. He just had such a good mic. I was like, I know he's a creator, so let's shout his channel out if we can.
Blurred Citizen, you have 5 minutes. Go.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
2 in the morning.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. I have a bit of a different take on this, just because everyone's kind of upset, which I am too. Obviously, it was trash. Cool. But when I
do like that you start with that. It's like, guys, my take is different, but this is shit.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I wasn't about to come on here and defend it, but when I first saw the Blades, the first thing that came to my mind was just progression, just in-game progression.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if you play a game like Gran Turismo or like any game with like vehicles, part of the progression in the game is being able to increase the tracking of your vehicle, or how good it can go on turns, or
a
how fast it can go, or
improvement to your experience, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And
like you watch the top speed go higher. It's the most sad. Like I loved Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
That was one of my first PlayStation games.
Not just that, but like when you're doing like a full build, like you've been, let's say, use the Gladius example. You use your Gladius, it does its whatever stats, and then you're like, I'm building a speed Gladius today, and you put all the different speed components on. You put this new AI blade in, and then it's just a different vehicle, and that's like so much fun.
Yeah, and it made me think of like all progression in this game. Like same thing with armor, and they mentioned how you can craft and make guns better, or make your armor better and things like that, which is good. They should do that, obviously. But then it made me come back to the ships, right? Because I always thought that, like, okay, I get why they're selling the ships. They got to fund the game. The ships, if you talk to anybody outside of the game, the one thing they know, or that even draws them to even take a look at Star Citizen, at least for a lot of people, is like, look at the ships. They have interiors. You can walk around in them. You can do things. Like, it's not like other games. Like No Man's Sky, I mean, they've made great improvements for the game. CIG should probably look at Hello Games for some inspiration. But one of the things in No Man's Sky is you can't do anything in the ships, right? And so people from there, I know from that community, look at Star Citizen, it's like, oh, it'd be so cool if No Man's Sky had interiors, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So it made me think about the ships. And I was like, okay, I get that they sell the ships, but what's going to happen in 1.0 if people have Idrises? And not just Idrises, like that's an extreme example. If Mike has a C2 and I'm starting with an Aurora, he's like way ahead of me. Like he's way ahead of me. He can do bigger cargo missions, and it wasn't an in-game thing. So it made me think, like, I know how finicky the Star Citizen community is, like with their money and their pledges. But like, what if they did ships by a in-game progression, to get back to my main topic of progression? So let's say a C1 was a level 10 ship. So you can't access the C1 until your character gets to level 10 or a level 10 pilot. But so then that's the benefit of buying it. So if Mike bought a C1, when he gets to level 10, he gets the C1 because he pledged. I know that's not great, but he gets the C1 because he pledged. If Croncy gets to level 10, he has to buy the C1 in game. But at least we both have to get to level 10 before we can use the C1.
In a game that has
so I was gonna
skills. But
I was gonna say this idea has been
disagreeing with you. Yeah, and I used to shoot it down, and now I don't even know anymore if I would.
Yeah, so normally people have said like reputation locking it
so bad that I'm willing to go back on things that I used to think were shit, because these guys have gotten so bad that the things that I used to think were horrible don't sound that bad anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been brought up a lot by a lot of people for like, yeah, use this with like a reputation lock. Like you are required to get a reputation with XYZ in order to use certain vehicles, or you have to do some type of mission chain in order to use them, right? I don't know how that would go with this game. I actually think the reception from a lot of the community would be a lot more negative than you might think.
Of course.
Because of the people who are like, well, I spent my now $1,900 on an Idris. I want to use it day one, right? And so while a solution is needed, I don't love that solution.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it was just a thought process because I mean they have to. I think as much as we shit on CIG, I think they have to, and rightfully so. They have to know that like something has to be done, right? You can't just have. I mean, maybe I'm naive, but you can't just have like on day one of when Star Citizen 1.0 comes out on day one. There's just like such a wide variance in guns, armor, ships, like everything now apparently.
Yeah, you don't get the day one experience in SC. It will not happen. That's why I like your idea. And I used to hate it because I thought people that spent their money deserved what they paid for. And the more that I see the reaction from people that feel this entitlement, the more I think that CIG does deliver on their promise. You got your Idris. It is on your account. You will be able to access it when you hit the level to access it. And then I don't have it. Therefore, I'm not able to access the Idris until I'm able to get to that level and earn the Idris.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. That would solve the ship problem. But guess what?
Yeah.
We're past the ship problem onto a whole new thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I will say there would still be a bit of a day one thing in the fact that people aren't going to have UEC. For the most part, you can pledge UEC, but as I've mentioned multiple times, it is such a bad deal and not remotely worth paying for. So you would have these situations where I think someone showed me today the Idris missile variant. It was like 36 million to currently restock the Idris. Those sort of costs will likely for the first little bit, like the first week to whatever, should mostly make it that people end up getting in their smaller ships and starting to make money quickly. But then that problem that you described will essentially happen. It'll just be a bit delayed, I guess.
Idris has a 1 hour claim timer.
Yeah, great point. And the last thing I'll say, because I know it's a short term, I just to tie this all together, I did play and this is related, so I'm not getting off topic. I did play the Dune Awakening beta when it came out, and what I found most intriguing about that, there were some things I didn't like, but related to our conversation is you're in the desert in Dune, and you have to have water, right? And so there's when you first start, there's a limit of how far you can go before you're out of water because your suit can't hold enough water. So then you have to like craft stuff in order to be able to build a better suit to hold more water. And then you can craft a gun where you can extract blood from people you kill, so it makes a reason to go kill people. And then you can turn that blood into water, which gives you more water so that you can survive, right? And it's such a simple thing, but it's just like incremental progression. And I was like, what if you could just go in the Dune store and just buy the blood gun? Or you know what I mean? Or what if I could just go in the Dune store and just buy a motorcycle so I could go further earlier in the game in the desert than having to walk around and stop every so often because I'm running out of a hydration. And so the idea of that just it seems so foreign and like any other game that's like trying to be successful. So I don't know what they're thinking, but that's all I had. Just wanted to give my thoughts on that.
On that very quickly, and last comment from me and probably all of us, unless Michael says something, is like that's also once again why the blades are more impactful here than like selling ships have been, because to me, I know a constellation is not a direct upgrade over like a random heavy fighter or whatever you want to use, right? They have different roles. I'm going to use them for different things. A blade is just a component that is an upgrade on a ship. It just is an upgrade. The end. Right? It's also like it's not even the case that like every ship needs a blade. It just is an upgrade. That's what's like super sour about this for me.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
dude.
no, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Man. All right.
Make sure to call in again.
Yes, please. And then Michael the Arc is next, and then we'll go to Cutlet. And when we get to Cutlet, we don't speak. He goes for 5 minutes, and then we kick him out.
Yeah, easy. All right, Michael, are you there?
Hello.
Howdy. You have
What's
5
up?
minutes. Let's go.
All right. Well, obviously, I'm here to talk about the thing that everyone's been talking about, which is why does Rowena Dooley look like Sid from Toy Story? Obviously, there's lots of drama.
They did her dirty, dude.
They really did. Yeah, no, obviously the big drama, it really does suck that they spoiled Invictus and the release of the Idris that way. But like, something I've been thinking about since they did the F8 thing, that consistently it feels like you can almost taste the desperation.
Yeah.
And whether it's like, started with the Jump Town packs and then selling armor and then the F8, and they keep crossing these lines that they said they weren't going to do. We're not going to sell the F8. Well, as it turns out, we are. We're not going to release the Idris until Squadron 42. Well, turns out we are, and it seems like they didn't do that for the first decade and change, because I guess the Invictus and IAE was funding enough, and the fact that they made a change says that the normal ship sale stuff wasn't quite doing it anymore.
I mean, I don't know necessarily if this one feels as much as desperation as the ones that you mentioned, but I do see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I think it's part of the overall pattern, right? Like, selling the blades, like, we're doing something new. Even releasing the Idris before I think it was ready on the year of no more Tier 0 stuff. Releasing the thing without engineering.
Yeah, like I am a fan of them releasing the Idris, but it is out of character from things that they've said like before, and it does kind of feel a bit monetization. I don't know how to say it, but was it a thing it's kind of like, was it a thing they could have done a year ago, and they've just decided to do it now because they want the money?
They definitely couldn't have done it a year ago. They could have done it a year from now, being in the Squadron 42 year, comes out roughly the same time. Engineering would be in, the gameplay for the Idris would be more complete. So but it seems like we had to get it out and make some money off it. I don't know if that was a marketing thing or what. It just the timing of it feels weird to me. And obviously the blades kind of, it's not the problem of the blade itself. It's the fact that we continue to slip down the slope, and where that leads. They've like Mike says a lot. They've already ruined ships a lot. You see an F8, you're like, oh yeah,
I know
the
where
F8.
he got that.
The 890 is not a statement piece. It's just oh yeah, someone bought an 890. Same with the Idris. You wish it would be like, oh man, there's a capital ship. That's rare. But you look around in the PU right now, and they're everywhere.
Well, and the best part is that they, like in this case, there's not even like they didn't get it from Wicklow.
Yep,
it's 100% purchased.
Yep, and they're so common that our org literally found one on the ground on Daymar, just sitting abandoned with its doors open. And took it, they're just being tossed away because the insurance timers haven't been sorted out before the capital ship comes out. But overall, the Idris has been still fun.
It's certainly a very fun ship.
Yeah, it's definitely changing some of the ways that we're playing. So that's a lot of fun. It's at least interesting to get to. I really wish engineering was in for it. Hopefully that comes out soon. But that's all I got. I don't want to waste too much time. I know it's been a long list of calls for y'all. So I'll let y'all get to Cutlet.
All right. Oh God. Okay.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
We appreciate the call, Michael.
Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm not. Space Cutlet.
And that's all we have time for. Sorry, Cutlet. We're gonna have to cut you short.
Yo, what's up?
What's up?
Hey,
how much time do I have?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes. Can I dedicate first minute out of 5 minutes for a complete minute of silence to remember the hopes of the gameplay we had?
No,
literally,
but I want
1 minute of silence.
But I want to dedicate the first minute to say, if you guys want to hear more from this caller, Space Cutlet, he streams on Twitch, twitch.tv/Space Cutlet. So we will not get the entire argument in this call, and if you want to hear it, that's where you'll hear it. All right.
Oh God, I
Cutlet,
actually want to do
go.
a minute of silence, but yeah, apparently
That would be terrible content.
Yes, as someone who makes content,
that's
you
the
should
point.
know.
And then I would do an argument. How did you like that minute? That's gonna be your gameplay in Star Citizen if we allow this to happen, right? So I honestly wanted to come in and I'm not even kidding. Do the minute of silence and then say like that was all I wanted to say, right? And then just bail from the call. This is not even a joke, but if we're talking about it, like a lot of things have been said already. I don't know if I should like even repeat what other people said. I think there were a lot of good ideas. What I probably wanted to point out that certain things that I've entertained in my head over like a certain period of time that beforehand was like community was looking at what I was saying either on my streams or your ATCs, let's say, and they were saying like, no way, are you insane? Right now, while I was watching ATC, this ATC, I've seen people when the hardcore servers were brought up, I was already seeing more than 0 people saying that
they would play.
Yes, give us hardcore servers. Well, like we just don't want to deal with this shit anymore. And there were a lot of people saying that I'm a starter package Andy. Like I am the guy who wants to play those servers, and there's like a lot of us. You underestimate how many people want just to play a proper game with proper progression. They just want to get like into pay to access the game, and then and then just play the game.
I'm not saying I don't want to play on
know.
those servers. To be clear, I just don't think it's a good idea to separate the community.
I
think there's better solutions.
I know the argument about the separating the community, and I agree. The problem is we are
it's already a niche game. That's like
what I struggle
with.
Crossing so many red lines at this point, and I feel the community is already separated. That's what I feel. There is
I disagree with that. I don't think so. I like one of the things that I was going to mention at the end of today is I'm really proud at the response from the majority of the community to this.
About
this
the blades, I agree. Entire community put their torches up and like went full on spectrums. Yeah, that was
we exposed like the absolute brain rot. Like few people as well, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was like this is so far like literally the entire community stood up against. Like, okay, not entirely, but like I think the huge majority, right? It's just unacceptable. But and those ideas are more and more crossing my head. Another thing that I've heard said by one of the previous callers, like one before or two before, about like other ways to like give access to pledges over time, over progression. That's something I entertained and discussed also back in the day a lot, like how people could get the access to the insane amount of the ships they pledged in a meaningful way, not day one, not creating this crazy gap between like the whales and the and the normies, right? By creating some sort of a non-linear curve that would define like a specific points that will tick over time on your account, and you can unlock like the ships you pledged for when you get to a certain amount of points. You could do like different ways, but I don't think all of that will happen. None of that will happen. Like that's why I even stopped discussing it, because whenever it is about pay to win, CIG always refers to the pledges they did before, like, oh, we promised to give everything day one, you know? and I don't think this will ever happen. Yeah, I don't have any specific arguments I want to put in. This is all extremely sad. I think they will continue doing that. They are pretty
They've
much
showed
doing
their hand that they're not going to stop.
if they are like sorry for like, I don't want to bring politics into this because I know, but they're but they're doing like this, but because just like ongoing meme like Trump move in a way where they like first of all make a step with like insane like request in the deal, right? Like that is like non acceptable, and everyone like freaks out, and then they like doing one step back, like that is like a small step back from the initial request, right? And everyone like, oh my god, we won, yes, victory. And it's not a victory. Like, open your eyes. It's not a victory. Like, I'm not gonna say what I told you, Mike, how I described this in DMs, right? But it's like they're just stepping back a bit, and then everyone shouts a victory, and everyone, oh Xylo, oh my god, Xylo, yes, you came and saved us, oh yes, great. No, you're just still getting completely humiliated and being played by CAG marketing team, and these components should never be in the store. Even going day to day with in-game, that shouldn't be a thing. That should be only in-game stuff. I could argue about the tank guns and Scorpius guns because that's kind of selling a variant without selling a variant. We kind of are already used to it. I still feel it's bad, but you can argue about it.
Yeah, it's bad, but we've been conditioned for that.
Yeah, we're conditioned, and like
I'll be right back.
In a sense, it's better because instead of selling us a variant, a full variant where you have to buy a full new ship to get this, they're kind of opening space for, okay, actually we will create these modules, like just swap a gun or a turret that will completely change the gameplay for a certain vehicle. But because we need to monetize the project still, we will kind of sell it to you like we sell you ships. So you will have this delay, like whatever, 3 months delay, etc., etc. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm shocked. I don't think we will recover from this. I think a permanent scar have been done. I don't see where we will have gameplay in the future. If you can buy ships, you can buy armor, you can buy guns, you can buy modules, you can buy components. At this point, where is the game? I mean, literally, this argument, everyone who comes here and talks, this is the argument. I'm not like special. This is the same argument. Where is the game? What are my goals? Stop feeding me bullshit about there is no win or you make up your own goals. This is complete pure bullshit. Even sandboxes have goals. You either like group
if
up
I
to
create
achieve
my own
or
goals, somebody can ruin them
solo,
with pay to win.
You create your own goals. I cannot create my own goals because there is nothing to create. Everything have been sold.
Cutlet, your goal is to input your credit card details as quickly as possible. Obviously.
Yeah, it's insane, guys. I'm gonna do an make a minute of silence by myself. So
the only thing I'll say is we could have had hardcore and non-hardcore servers if CIG didn't do Pyro absolutely fucking horribly. We could have had it. If Pyro actually drew players in to like want to be there because there was something worth doing, and then players were like able
Pyro
to live
was
there.
one patch content. Forget about it. 10 years of waiting, one patch content.
Everyone back to Stanton.
That's it.
Clear
Everyone
out
back to Stanton to buying ships. You
7
cannot sell
servers
Pyro.
for
Why would you care
Stanton.
about its content?
Clear it out.
It's I'm waiting for the Knicks battle pass. Maybe if they do a Knicks battle pass, then the Knicks will hold
Stop giving
not
them
for
ideas.
a month.
What is wrong with you callers?
Yeah.
What I'll say,
know,
Cutlet, just because you mentioned the stuff about like like yeah, they'll do this again because they are constantly just testing the waters. They bring it back and then they start again. Yeah. That's why it's important for everyone who disagrees with this, with what they've done, to do this again when CIG do this again, and keep pushing back on it. More than we have for this. It needs to be more than we have for this, because otherwise they won't learn the lesson. They will just take it, like Mike said earlier about like everyone, like Reddit doesn't care anymore. There's no Reddit posts about this anymore after a day or two.
Yeah.
You need to push
predicted.
Back on it.
As predicted, it held less than a week. Yeah. The outrage held less than a week. I cannot wait to see. No,
good.
I
And you
mean,
shouldn't
in
be.
general,
Exactly.
in general, none of us are done. We're not done for many years, Mike. Together, we've seen this coming.
They
talked
want us
about
to
it,
leave,
and
but
it's
they
getting
can't
worse.
kill us. We're vampires.
Yeah. I cannot wait. What can I say? I cannot wait to see. I cannot wait to see the monetization on base building. That's gonna be hilarious. Like, if you guys think they're done with selling you the land plots, oh boy, just wait for that. Just wait for that, guys.
Yeah, they've already sold land plots. How bad do you? They took them away just to make them worse. Just wait. Just wait. But yeah, let's go, Cutlet, so we can go. My dog's sick, and I gotta. That's why I ran.
Go take care of
She's not
that.
eating her medicine.
And I will be jumping off and renting on my own. I will see you all later, and thanks for having me.
Are you gonna start streaming?
Thanks for calling.
Yes.
Perfect. We know where to raid.
Putting me in the last in the queue was that was such a troll, bro.
It was. We went in order. We went in order.
We went in order.
I know.
The calls were already full like 3 hours ago.
Yeah, it's
3 hours before the start of the pod.
Super long ATC. There are so many people to talk about it. It's crazy.
Yeah. So
all right, guys.
Cutlet, get out,
I'll
and
leave
then
you be.
we'll
I
raid
love you.
Yep.
Yeah, I love you.
Love you too, dude.
Catch you, mate.
Bye now.
Bye bye.
That was a good way to end it. That was a good way to end it. Twitch.tv/Space Cutlet for the people who are watching on YouTube, and then maybe you could check out the VOD or whatever. But do we feel better or worse or the same?
It's sort of like I said at the start. I'm really just like,
do we survive
my big
this?
silver lining? My big silver lining was the reaction from the community, and all the calls today echoed that. And like that one, I mean, I'm always too optimistic, but like that still has me optimistic. But it really is like, this needs to be the reaction when CIG do something that you don't like. Even if you are a person that's like, CIG should sell this, I still want you to have the feeling of like, if CIG do something you don't like, you need to be like real aggressive about it.
Respectfully.
And in a lot of situations, not spending money is the thing that's the loudest.
My posts are still up, not because they like some of your posts got deleted, right? But they didn't necessarily get deleted because they don't agree with your opinion. They got deleted because you weren't respectful in some way or broke one of their like more oppressive rules, right? So you just gotta be smart about it and keep saying your point and do what you can do to try to better the game that I think we all love. Remember, like, they're making Chris Roberts' vision, but it's grown past that at this point. That shit doesn't matter anymore because he's not going to play the game, or he will. He'll be playing the game by himself if we keep going with just what he wants, right? Everybody should be able to speak their mind. I think it sometimes it gets again, this is why we made the show in the first place. And unfortunately, it doesn't work perfectly because your audience tends to reflect you. But like the idea here was always to allow people that maybe have differing opinions to come on the show and share their POV. And I don't want to have differing opinions with other content creators necessarily. I want to have actual community members come on and say, you know what, I don't agree, and here's why, and let's have a little argument about it respectfully. And we've done that with people that have had differing opinions. It just doesn't happen that often. So it's not Chris's game anymore. It's ours. And it has been ours for a really long time. Chris did not have $800 million. We did. So it's time to just keep speaking your mind. And it doesn't matter what other people think about it. Just say what you think. And hopefully it'll be heard. And if it's heard and it's a good idea and they think it's a good idea, they'll do it. And if enough people say it, they might consider it more. And you can have an idea that no one agrees with. That's okay. I do it all the time, but it's the way it is.
I want to finish with one thing, just because I've once again I've seen this like echoed a lot of times. Is CIG need to fund the game? We all want the game made. We all want to play the game. I do not want to play that game.
Yeah, I don't want to play
very explicitly. I do not want to play that game, and so I won't. If that is the situation they go through, I don't want them to make that game.
And people will say good.
That's the end of it.
But you'll be playing by yourself because we're the we're the wide majority in this. It's got to be true. There's no way.
Yeah.
Like the amount of silent people is crazy. Of course, like all this is all the people are going to say like this is the loud minorities. There's no way that's true. So yeah, it's people came out of the woodwork for this shit for a reason. So yeah, because they were like, whoa, this bad.
And if you disagree with us, you can comment below in the comments of the YouTube video. Make sure to subscribe to the Answer the Call YouTube. Make sure to follow both Mike and myself over here on Twitch. We stream it both on Twitch, on both of our channels now, and on YouTube at the same time. Whatever this time is in Mike's time. I don't know roughly when.
10 a.m. It starts, 10 a.m. Eastern. I don't know.
10 a.m. Eastern, there you go.
Plus 4 or 5 UTC.
And I also want to say a thank you to Jacob McQuaid. Thank you very much for the $5. Thank you for not spending that at CIG.
You could have spent that on a blade. What an idiot. Thank you so much. We appreciate it, man. Thank you, dude. And yeah. What do we do now?
We don't forget.
That was really good timing. To answer the call. Nice. That was really good. That was smooth. Like we were in tune, and you're in